this as
The Zoom been working.
Okay, was it, sorry,
But go ahead. I'm
well, was it already recording or does he need to restate his name? Because he had
yeah,
just begun.
restate it, Reggie. I'm sorry.
okay, I won't go into the hockey stuff again, but Reggie Jenkins, Trank Isabel Siddiqian Shadanian on behalf of the applicant. This application received site plan approval back in 2024. Since then, there had been some confusion, I guess, with the applicant, and at that time, they presented, but I think they were told either the day of or at some point around then that the license number, the permitted license numbers had changed. They had, when they had applied, there was more than a sufficient number. Then it was changed and reduced, and so at that point, they were told there were no licenses available. What we have done, and as I've referenced in our submission letter, this matter is currently in litigation to challenge the fact that our permit, and by the way, we haven't been denied a permit. There just has been no action on it. We have been given conflicting information as to how to proceed with regard to the borough. We have been diligently pursuing that, but we have first and foremost filed action against the borough to basically say that at the time that we applied, and when I say not only to this board, but when the licensing and permitting was applied to with the borough, that under the general theory of, the time of application, we were complete, we were timely. And then, but for the administrative actions of the borough, they have been denied the ability to proceed. But again, I would say denied in the sense that it's stifled. We have not given up that application. We have not given up the intent to proceed at that location. My client stands ready, willing, and able to carry out the permit that they applied for, the resolution and approvals that they received from this board. They're not sitting on their laurels.
So, Mr. Jenkins, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If the borough settled with you today and said, sure, you can have your license, are you ready to build tomorrow?
We would be in a very good position to do just that.
Have you made applications to the DEP? Have you been pursuing your DEP approvals? I'm assuming you have DEP approvals you're going to have to get to do what? Have you done anything with the DEP? Have you contacted the DEP? Are you in communication with them?
We are.
You are. And where do you stand on your DEP approvals?
And I'm hesitant only because that aspect is being handled by separate counsel.
So Mr. Jenkins, here's the problem I have. The licensing, and this has no bearing whether the board grants the extension or not, but from a land use perspective, your land use application is not contingent upon you getting a license from the borough of Red Bank to open a cannabis facility. It obviously goes to the center of why you want to do what you're doing, but you have site plan approval. You could build that building tomorrow, presuming that all your approvals were in place as far as DEP approvals and any other construction permits that you need. You don't need the license, the cannabis license, in order to build the building. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that site to clear what's there now and to build it. So we would need so theoretically you could proceed with your approval that you got from the land use board, regardless of the license, getting it from the town. So it's kind of important for this board to understand where you are in the DEP approval process.
So, and I understand your point, but I think that actually improperly, I was going to say conflate, but actually separates them, because we really cannot proceed with the building of a building to retrofit whatever is going to be there.
Why not?
Because why then are we doing that. We are doing that. We are going in there to operate that property as a cannabis dispensary.
Understood,
So,
but that has nothing to do with your site plan approval.
but it does, because that's the whole intent.
It does, that's your personal intent. Yeah, I don't mean you personally, it's your client's personal intent. That's what they would like to do with the property. From a land use perspective, you are a permitted use within the zone, hence the reason you were here. From a land use perspective, I'm not talking about a licensing perspective. From a land use perspective, you're permitted, anyone could walk in here now, whether you had whether there were any licenses available for a cannabis use or not a cannabis use. And it's my understanding at the time of the hearing, and I was not here, that the applicant was actually told there's no licenses available prior to the conclusion of the very start of the hearing. So your client knew at the very start of the proceedings that the town was taking the position that there were no license available, yet your client decided to proceed with the application regardless. Because for whatever you were told behind the scenes, we don't know that you weren't told that by the planning board. The planning board was very clear that there were no licenses, and you were very clear to the board at the time that you were going to proceed nevertheless, because a license being available was not a condition precedent to proceeding with your land use application. And the same virtue, you could build that building today exactly as was approved without the licensing. You may not be able to open a cannabis facility, but you could proceed with knocking down what's there now, cleaning up the site, building the building exactly as conceived via site plan, all without the licensing. You just can't open a cannabis facility. And that may seem counterintuitive to someone whose goal ultimately is to open a cannabis facility, but we have to look at it from a land use perspective. We're not looking at it from a borough licensing perspective. We have nothing to do with the borough licensing. You're a permitted use, you have your site plan. And listen, if you're telling me you have no knowledge because the other phases of the application are being handled by other council, I'm going to advise our board not to vote on this tonight. And really, they need to hear from that council and see some evidence as to what's going on, because all you are telling us, and this is not your problem, it's not your fault, you just only came here on the one issue, is, hey, we're in litigation with the borough. But again, that has nothing, in my view, that has absolutely nothing to do with the land use portion of this application, which is what site plan protection is all about.
See, and forgive me, because I would respectfully disagree.
That's fine.
In that, I think that is a more limited reading of what the statute says. What the statute says is, if the applicant is pursuing all the permitting that they need, all the government approvals they need for that use and for that operation, and they are stymied from doing that, then the board shall grant the extension. In this case, and it is counterintuitive to, disconnect the two. That is the sole we don't want to get a approval for a McDonald's, start building a McDonald's, and be told you can't operate a McDonald's.
Yeah, but who would you be? But the difference, listen, I think the difference here is, I don't know that you're diligently pursuing all your approvals. I know you're diligently pursuing a lawsuit against the borough of Red Bank. I don't know that you're diligently pursuing your permitting before the DEP. And you don't know either. You've acknowledged that. I don't know what other permits are required to build this building at this spot. I do know that what was at that spot is still there, and I don't believe anything's been done to it during all this time. And this is not the board's first rodeo with that particular location. We've actually been through this before with this particular site, and there came a request to, this is the gas station site at the entrance of the, right. So just so you know, for a little bit of history, it's sort of ironic, someone else would get an approval on that site, came in before us to say that they were asking for an extension of their protection period. Board denied that application. It was not a cannabis use, it was a hotel. And it became down to the DEP and whether they were diligently pursuing the DEP. Board turned it down. Applicant sued us, went to Superior Court, and the applicant lost, and they lost their protection rights. That didn't mean that they lost their site plan. Of course, whether we grant the protection or not, your site plan continues into perpetuity unless the Borough Council changes the ordinance.
Correct, which I cited in my letter.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now, we don't know that there's actual diligence going on, except that you're pursuing one avenue. So we can say this, let's say we settle tomorrow. You're not prepared to build tomorrow because you don't even know where you are in the DEP process. And it could be a 10-year process with the DEP because that site is very environmentally sensitive. And then you're coming back and coming back and coming back. So diligently pursuing all your approvals would necessitate that you're also pursuing it before the DEP and anyone else who you have to speak to in the meantime. And there was a lot involved in that application with the DEP, which is why the hotel never got built. So I would just suggest, again, I'm going to recommend to the board they not vote on this tonight, that either you or the other attorney who's handling this, and maybe both of you come back and present to us the evidence of where you are in the DEP process. And any other, and that's the only one that's popping up in my head because that was the main issue in the last one at this location. There may be other, I haven't investigated, there may be other approvals that are necessary. But I don't think the law contemplates that you can pick and choose which approvals you are diligently proceeding with. And then you can go and do the other ones later on, and you can prolong this into eternity because, hey, we're not going to pursue this appeal. We're not going to proceed with this approval unless we get this approval. No, you sort of have to do them concurrently so that you really are diligently pursuing everything.
And there was some discussion at the time about an application to state DOT about traveling north off the site onto Route 35. I don't know what the status of that is either. It was not something we were thrilled about at all.
In connection with this,
I think so.
okay. And again, I'm not being obtuse on that, is you weren't here as well as I was not the attorney who handled the hearings below.
Okay.
So that.
So we're all at a disadvantage,
Exactly.
except for the board members who were here.
We are definitely at a disadvantage. I would say also, again, with regard to the assertion of picking and choosing what to pursue, I do think that there is a threshold issue that we have satisfied, which goes again to my McDonald's example, is that if we have been told that there is a threshold issue of the permit, and can this actually now be used as a McDonald's? Well, then, regardless of whatever permitting may be required, if we're told that the sole purpose for us having come before this board previously is not available, well, then that threshold issue must first be rectified and addressed with some finality. And that question and the finality that we're looking for is first and foremost with the Superior Court.
And I respectfully disagree with you. I think we have to look at everything. I don't think we can just look at in a vacuum and say, okay, we're only dealing with the suit against the borough. So we can respectfully disagree. That's why there's 9 people on a Supreme Court. They don't always agree with each other either. So again, I would suggest that we don't answer this tonight. And it's up to the board, of course, if the board doesn't agree with
Yeah,
me.
I mean, I don't love extensions. I would very much like to hear exactly where you are with the DEP and any other approvals, whether it's New Jersey,
the
DOT,
apparently.
anyone else. I mean, it was a heavily contaminated site. There were a lot of there were deed restrictions. I don't want to characterize them as a lot, but I don't love the idea of an extension. I would rather hear back from you exactly where you are with everyone. I'd love to see that building built. I think that building would look great there. The use, I'm not so, I don't know where I feel about the use, but I think that I would love nothing more than to see that gas station torn down and a building built
Yeah, we'd like to, that's
for
something-
whatever use.
Yeah, and I think, by the way, and I think that has been the one repeated point that we have heard anytime, or at least I've talked about this site, is they want it built. They want it cleaned up and made look nice.
Well, nothing's preventing them from knocking down that building now.
Well,
They could go get their demo permits and knock it
well, the
down.
current, I mean, the current owner.
Oh, you don't own it?
No, we're
Yeah.
we're
Just contract purchase.
we're still the
That's gonna be my
contract
quote.
purchaser.
That was going to be my question. Who owns the property? Is it your client or?
No.
You're
So
still under
no,
contract?
we're still under. Yeah, we're still the contract purchaser.
Is there an expiration date on your contract or is it?
It's it keeps getting we're trying to extend it, then we get threatened that you're not, what's going on with the court and stuff like that. So we are a cork bobbing along on not just one, but multiple currents here. So we are hamstrung by walking in and knocking it down tomorrow.
You are, but you are not. You're hamstrung from opening it as a cannabis use. I will stick to the fact that you could open as the chairman just said, a very nice building that would look a lot better on that site than the current gas station, which is an eyesore. It probably goes back to Mayor McKenna being mayor at that site. He's nodding his head. That it was, I think it was vacant back then. So it's been a long time. This town's wanted to see that site remediated and cleaned up.
So if you want the chance at getting an extension, come back and sell it with exactly who you've talked to and the status of where you are, with anyone you need approval from to build this site. And I think it would help your situation if you were to do that. I'd love to tear it down tomorrow. You'll never get a construction loan because any bank half worth anything is going to ask you if you're ready to open, and you're not because you don't have a permit for a cannabis location. But I'd love to see the building built, but I realize that might not happen. Your opportunity for an extension, I think, is improved by coming back and really pitching to us exactly what you've done and the dates you did it. And I mean you, I mean the applicant, the other attorney, whoever, I don't care who you bring back, but some more definite information about what has transpired over the last couple of years and where you are with all of any of those agencies, I think would go a long way.
And Mr. Chairman, just to piggyback off what you just said, you mentioned that they wouldn't get a financing, but I don't know if that's true because there are many permitted uses which could operate on that site underneath the zoning ordinance.
Yeah, but they'd have to lie to the bank about what they wanted to do.
Not necessarily. They could, a contractor could say, I have approval to construct a building and here's my building, and the tenant is yet to be.
That is true. You're right. You're right.
Right. And I've seen that done. I'll tell you, we did this exact similar application in Keyport where hello Keyport. We did the exact same application in Keyport where someone came in to what we knew was going to be a cannabis facility, but they had yet to obtain their license. And they came in and they said, look, we're not here to get the cannabis facility. We want the building because we're going to sell we're just building the building, and then the cannabis people can come in, and if they need anything else, they can come in and get a site plan for it. So it is 100%, and ultimately they did get the license, and they did open the cannabis facility, but they built the building and then it was retrofitted to fit the cannabis. So the same thing could happen here. And so anyway, so that's my point. So anyway, I think you've heard the board. We would like to hear further information on where you actually are in the process other than the lawsuit with the borough. And you don't have the information, and I'm not going to try to get information that you don't have, and because that wouldn't be fair. So we'd ask that you come back at the next meeting with further information, and we'll hear you first and get you out of here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I hear you, and to the extent, whatever information that I can provide, I will. Because we're not here to kind of do any kind of bait and switch or whatever. If I have facts, I'm giving to you.
Well, you have one fact that you're giving it to.
No, I said if I have,
you get it, okay.
If I get it, but I just want to reiterate my objection to the reading of the statute as being put forth this evening. I'm just going to say that. I
understood. That's fine.
I'm just saying.
You don't agree with me, and I respect that.
Yeah. So, but either way,
Yes.
I will be back. We will be talking, and hopefully we can get this resolved. But again, we do have the acknowledgement, though, that the extension is not the site plan qua site plan. It is the protection.
Yeah, 100%.
So I understand there's reticence about the word extensions generally.
I
But-
think everyone on the board understands
Sure.
that whether or not they grant the extension, the cannabis use could continue to be operated on that site into perpetuity, absent the council changing the zoning ordinance not to allow the cannabis use. And that was the case in the last case too. By the way, the hotel could have gone up. It was still approved for the site. The ordinance hadn't changed, and they still sued saying that they wanted the site plan extension. So, but everybody knew it, they could have still built the hotel.
Okay.
Okay, so the board, like I said, the board's experienced on this particular site and in this area of the law,
Got it.
because they went through it not that long ago.
All right. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will be back.
All right, so
Appreciate you
so the
showing up.
next, Shauna, the
Well,
next
and that's,
date-
is what are we looking at in terms of dates?
May 13th is our next meeting.
I can't do that. What I will do,
We could do June 10th.
let's provisionally say June 10th.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So
And
we
if
wanted-
for whatever reason, some other hiccup comes up in scheduling, I will be in, in
Right,
a-
and I assure you, I will not allow the board to say, hey, you're out of time to be requesting this extension.
Thank you. And I will-
Okay, I won't, that wouldn't be fair either. And I would suggest if you can get a timeline from this other council, maybe you can submit it ahead of time for us to review rather than you sitting up here and trying to read a list.
Oh, no, I would,
Okay,
we would try to map that out ahead
okay,
of time.
perfect.
All right. Again, Mr. Chairman, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. I will see you June 10th or somebody June 10th.
Ladies and gentlemen from the public, if you are here regarding this extension request, come back on June 10th. That's just to let everybody know.
7 p.m., yes.
We have 2628 Shrewsbury Avenue, Susan, who's hiding behind Victor, or not Victor, the other guy who I don't know. Scott, how you doing? Come on up. And fill us in on where we are.
Press the.
Huh. So where we are is, last time I was here, about a month or so ago, I think, we went through the redevelopment rehabilitation plan and you all had some comments, some revisions. So I put forth a very short memo, I think it's only a page, summarizing the proposed revisions to the plan. And I can take you through that. Mostly on design. I think that was the majority of the board's comments. So they're fairly targeted, red line revisions. I don't know why my computer's taking forever. So first of all, just kind of a big picture design, we'd had some discussion about the amount of commenting and amount of revisions that the planning board will have, essentially how much leeway you'll have once this application presumably comes to you for site plan review. So there are design parameters in the rehabilitation plan, then there are also renderings of the proposed application as it stands now. Originally, there had been language to the effect of, basically the design should be substantially similar to these renderings. And if it is, then the planning board, basically would accept it. I think there was some concern about that and feeling like that really didn't give the board enough leverage or flexibility. So the proposed change basically is that the final design and whatever they submit for site plan needs to be, quote, generally consistent with the renderings. I think that's comparable to how you would look at, master plan consistency. You basically are reviewing anything that they would submit for overall consistency with the renderings as well as the rehabilitation plan itself. So I think that hopefully accomplishes the goal of having some more flexibility. And then further to that, on page 14, there's a clear statement that ultimately the planning board has discretion over the final designs submitted to you and reviewed by you for consistency with this rehabilitation plan. So that's the first big picture. And then there are some design details. We talked about vertical articulation, vertical breaks, and adding the word meaningful before that. That has been added, really just to give a little bit more teeth. We talked about reflective materials or colors. There was some concern about the use of a lot of white materials that would be jarring. So language has been added discouraging that. There were some numbers on signage. I don't know that this came up specifically by the board, but I noticed it. We had numbers, and the way that it was reading is that this will be the size of the sign. And so we really just changed that to the maximum. It might be smaller. It shouldn't be bigger. So really just to kind of give a little bit more of a range. We talked about rooftop equipment and structures, and that there needs to be material and paint and other uses or strategies to camouflage those materials. And then this board wanted to see, as part of site plan submission, specific building elevations that they will be showing their project and how that affects them. And the specific ones were, from the swimming river that shows the Galleria building. That was a concern, I think, from the board as well as members of the public, how this building will affect that view. And then as well as Shrewsbury Avenue, both north and south, so that they will need to provide, renderings of the proposed development with from those views as part of their site plan submission. For landscaping, lighting, and then the public riverfront walkway, I think a lot of this is a little bit housekeeping. Just a requirement that when they submit their site plan application, the plant schedule has to comply with borough ordinance. Provision that the Environmental Commission can have the opportunity for an advisory review of both the landscaping and the lighting plans. And then we had some discussion about public seating. It's a little tight, and there was some concern about whether the applicant's going to have room to put seating in and what that might look like. And I think the feedback we were getting from the board is that you wanted that provision to allow for seating if it's possible. And so we basically just added some language that seating and public amenities should be provided as feasible. There may be ways to incorporate those as part of landscaping, and then added a couple of illustrative images just to show how that might be done, not necessarily how it has to be done, but different context, how that has been accomplished. And then lastly, on the question of sustainability and green building designs, there was some confusion because we had language that they shall provide green building strategies, and then we had a sort of a list of different strategies and that they were encouraged. And there was some confusion about the use of the word shall and also encouraged. So it's been clarified so that they have to provide green building strategies. And then the list of examples are really just meant to be examples, ways that they could get there, but it doesn't relieve them of the obligation and the requirement to provide those green building strategies. So that's a summary of all of the proposed revisions to the plan. You should have all gotten a red line version of it, and hopefully you got this memo too. But I just took you through all of them page by page. So happy to answer any additional questions. And I'll pull up the plan just in case. Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, I have a follow-up, which is a little deeper than just a revision. Can you refresh my memory on the discussion on the can you reiterate the discussion we had about the public walkway ending in the dead end over by the marina? Why that was, they could not design that to be a through loop?
I think it's primarily to do with the topography. They're sort of down at such a level that they would have to go back up across somebody else's property, essentially. And there really wasn't a way to make that connection, both on property that they don't control and also with the topography. There'd be no way to really create that kind of connection, certainly not one that's accessible.
Why couldn't they go up their own lot line?
It was, there
The
wasn't.
building's pretty close
Yeah, there
at the
wasn't
trains where the tracks are.
I
In
don't think,
addition to the elevation change, I think the building is like 6 feet from the right of way for the train station.
and wouldn't they need, what is it, DP approval to connect it, that connection? Because that's not,
Right,
that easement belongs to the state, not to us, that walkway easement.
that's correct.
What, that easement is what?
That easement belongs to, that walkway easement belongs to the state. So I believe to connect to it, and I'm just going off of my memory from the conversations, they'd have to get approval from the state to do any connections.
And you'd still have to solve for the elevation change.
Yeah.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a real challenge for sure.
I don't love the idea of making it
The dead
easier
end is
for people to get to the train tracks or whatever
Yeah.
they're up to.
Yeah, I can see.
But you're right, it's a dead end until we hit the lottery in town,
And by the
build the damn
marina,
thing everywhere.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Right, Ed? That's the plan. Forever. That's been the plan.
Piece by piece.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Anybody else have any questions for Susan? Anyone from the public have any questions regarding what we've talked about so far? I didn't think so. So what we're looking for here is whether or not the board wants to recommend to the mayor and council that they approve this. Is it in-
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
send it to the mayor and council for consideration because it's originating here.
And it's an ordinance.
We,
Is it,
Mm.
we already approved this though, last month. So if the,
We approved it based
Subject
upon,
to
subject
the
to the
revision.
changes being made.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was an
so do we
interesting.
need to, that's what Dan and I were talking about. Do we need to
do we need another
approve it
referral?
again?
We just vote to confirm that it's in final form and you're happy with it, just to safeguard it.
Mhm.
So does anyone have any interest in approving that, voting to, on these changes to the referral we've already made evidently to the mayor and council?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Yeah, so a bit of an odd duck.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, do a roll call.
Shauna Ebanks,
yes.
Christina Bonatakis,
Yes.
Dan Mancuso,
Yes.
Luis Demento, Robert Boris,
I think I have to abstain. I wasn't at the original meeting.
You don't have to, it's not that type of application. So if you've read the plan that's been submitted and you are happy with it, then you can vote yes.
Then yes.
Wilson Bibi,
Yes.
Itzel Hernandez.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Next up, 187 Riverside Avenue, Block 401, Lot 1-3, All Things Vic LLC in the BR1. Site plan approval for the application is to change use of a property from a gasoline service station, which, let's face it, it's really not a gasoline service station anymore, is it? To a restaurant, which means the next time I go into New Corner for a piece of pizza, I will hear it about the fact that we've approved another pizzeria. So I'm preparing my response, which has been, John, people get to do what they do. So, Mr. McKenna, welcome back. It's all you.
And well, let me mark in the following exhibits, Mr. Chairman. A1 will be the preliminary and final site plan. A2 will be the topographic survey. A3 will be the architectural plans. A4 will be the stormwater report. A5 will be the traffic impact and parking assessment plan, a report rather. And then I have the following exhibits on behalf of the board. Exhibit B1 will be the T&M review letter of March 25th, 2026. B2 will be the Shade Tree Commission's comments, which came by way of an email dated March 26, 2026. And B3 will be the comments from the Environmental Commission, which came by way of an email dated March 30th, 2026. Those are the exhibits I have. Mr. McKenna, have you been given copies of the 3 board exhibits?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have them. That's all I have. If you just want to make your appearance, Mr. McKenna, and proceed. And if you- No, make sure I get it back.
I'm good.
I took. There you go.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Lexstein, I would like to refer to the fact that we did present an additional item this evening. The Environmental Commission had requested an update as to the status with the Department of Environmental Protection. And we literally got it today, the letter. It's very descriptive. The environmental cleanup is complete with the exception of 4 monitoring wells. And that's it. So the site is essentially clean, whatever surface water may have any kind of issue of sorts, that will fade away. So the monitoring wells are going, and that's
Are
described,
the wells installed or you're waiting?
they're installed.
Okay.
So is this a no further action letter from the DEP?
It's
or
essentially saying that there will be a no further action letter that's going to be
forthcoming?
forthcoming, but they have to monitor the wells, and then once they are satisfied with the results, which we think is going to be very quick, then we will have an RAO. And,
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna mark in as exhibit A6. We'll call it a DEP. What do they title it anything in their letter, or is it?
It's not from DEP,
It's not from
it's from the LSRP.
Oh, it's from the LSRP.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Slack Engineering.
It's the LSRP letter. So we'll just mark that. That makes it easier. Do you have a date on it?
Today, I think, right?
It's literally today.
Yeah, we just got it.
Okay.
It literally
So-
came in today.
So it's the LSRP letter dated April 8th, 2026. We'll mark that as exhibit A6. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to start out by calling up Tyler Sandless. He is going to go through the architecture. And he's also going to discuss the variances and waivers.
Do we have to sign in or swear in?
I'll swear you.
Yeah, I guess so.
You swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And you're an architect,
I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey.
and your license is in good standing.
It is.
Thank you. Just state your name, spell your last name.
Sure. It's Tyler Sandless, Sandlass. All right. Well, thank you for your time and consideration for this project that aims to bring some life back to a prominent but challenging location. In general, the project maintains the existing principal structure with some minor modifications to exterior facade materials and some additional program that's essential to the business operations of a restaurant. So the proprietor of this proposed restaurant operates the one right next door and is leveraging his experience in the industry in the area and infrastructure to ensure that this project has a positive impact on the area. So it's a pretty simple building. I think you guys have all probably driven by it. It's about 1,700 square feet. It has a pretty simple floor plan. There's kind of the reception area with support spaces. There's an ADA bathroom, janitor's closet, and dishwashing sink or dishwashing area. And then the main dining room, which has, a small pizza oven kitchen, a bar seating, let's say, and some general unfixed seating. So the material changes, I think, that are most notable are on the 2 facades that essentially make up that corner. As of right now, we're planning to use a brick system for the majority of the facade, and then kind of an accent on the corner that, in a way, speaks to the other restaurant. So right now we're looking at using Core 10 panels. We do have some building mounted signage that, as far as we know, is in compliance with the signage requirements. And then I think we'll have to talk a little bit further with our civil engineer about the ground mounted signage that exists at the corner, but actually outside of the property line. I don't know if you have any questions for me immediately, but
You mentioned a bar.
Uh-huh.
Is there a liquor license for this property that's going to be used?
It's shared.
That's my next question. Is it shared? Can you do that?
Yes.
How convenient. Okay. I don't have any other questions so far about what you said.
Tyler, would you run through with, I'm trying to speed it up a little bit for you, but you want to just quickly address the variances and the waivers?
Sure. Is that? Yeah, I think that's probably best.
Oh, I'm
for-
sorry. You know what? The engineer said he'll do it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I think maybe one last note is you'll notice on the bottom right corner of the page is the one thing that we're doing outside of the existing envelope is that support structure or that support program, the walk-in cooler and the trash area. So okay, we're kind of starting to get into the site element of our proposal.
The existing garage doors that's there,
they're
that's
gonna-
the same, you're gonna repurpose them?
Yes.
Yeah. It's part of the aesthetic,
So no part of this building footprint will be changed at all?
correct.
And where again are you putting the trash?
It's gonna be behind a fence.
So that's the bottom corner? part that you're
Correct.
talking
Right now,
about?
we have it listed as 7 foot wide and 7 foot deep and 6 foot wide. To fit essentially 4 bin type roller, trash bin.
And where is that located on the site?
So it is towards the back corner in both, from both Riverside and from Bridge Avenue.
Perhaps, if
That's it right there.
if it pleases the board, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I think maybe what I'd like to do is get Mr. Rollo sworn in. So if there are any questions that the board has,
You can always come back up.
and he may be able to answer them so that you don't have to, bring multiple witnesses in to address different issues.
Sure.
But as far as the trash is concerned, I can tell you that Mr. Rollo's plan is to he'll deal with the trash on a daily basis.
Privately. Yes, you know how
Yes.
we roll. Does anyone else from the board or the public have any questions for the architect? Come on up, sir. You just got to speak into the mic. Tell us your name and address. This is questions only right now.
I was just questioning, well, I don't know if this.
If you want to tell us you love it or hate it, you have to wait.
Okay.
All right. We'll come back to you for comments. Don't worry. We just like to save those for the end.
Sorry, I might have missed this, but these plans are not the same set that we reviewed. They've been updated based on our conversation with their team last week. Is that correct?
Yeah. there have been
Because,
some-
for example, the trash enclosure that you showed, we commented on the lack of a trash enclosure. So I just wanted the board to,
I need to know then, what is the date of what is the date of these
The
architectural?
7th, yesterday.
Okay. So we had marked in the architectural plans, they're still by William Mandera?
Yes,
Okay, but these are dated April 7th,
correct.
2026. All right, that's going to be Exhibit A3. I just want to make sure we're not going to have 2 sets of architectural plans marked in. Okay.
And from an architectural standpoint, is it your testimony that the applicant is willing to comply with any comments that the engineer has in her letter as it relates to your discipline from an architectural standpoint?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, go ahead, Ed.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stamlis. Can I get Mr. Rollo sworn in, please? Thank you.
Mr. Rallo, do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And just state your name for the record
Victor Rollo,
and spell your last name.
Rallo.
And you are the owner of the property, correct?
Yes, I am.
Or the principal in the LLC that owns the property?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Robert. This is Robert Freud. He's the engineer on the project. Like
you-
to have him sworn in?
Yes, do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And just state your name for the record, please.
Robert Frood, F as in Frank, R-E-U-D.
And Mr. Frood, you are a licensed engineer and your license is in good standing in the state of New Jersey, correct?
It is, yes.
Thank you. That's all we need.
I am also going to testify as a professional planner.
And
my
your planning license is in good
is also
standing?
good standing.
Thank you.
Robert, if you don't mind, you have been retained, you're a member of Dynamic, correct?
I am, yes. I'm a principal and director with Dynamic Engineering.
And you were retained by the applicant in this particular matter to perform the engineering that was necessary for this site, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Has the site plan changed since the February 16th, 2026 plans?
So the site plans that are there that are of record have not changed. Our site plan exhibit that I'll go through this evening, we did make some modifications following our call with staff.
And that's fine, but as long as the site plan that we're referring to is the same site plan, February 16th, we can mark in as A7, a site plan, what did you call it?
So you can maybe go full screen on these. So this is an aerial exhibit.
Aerial exhibit.
Overall aerial map exhibit, and that has today's date on it, April 8th, 2026.
Okay, we will mark that in as Exhibit A7.
Okay, so I'll just speak to this briefly. This is just to orient the board, but I think everybody knows where we are. You see the 35 bridge coming in from the left side of the page. So the left is north here. So as you come over the bridge, it's a little different than the aerial. You have the new construction that would be on the northeast corner of that intersection with Bridge Avenue. So Bridge Avenues could, continue straight to the right, and then you have Riverview that extends up. The yellow outlined area is the property in question, and then you have, actually, you can go to the next. We can do it right off this one, actually. That's fine. That's fine. The next one is a zoomed in version, but you're handling it well for me. So just to go into a little bit more detail on the existing conditions. Again, you've got Biravino above it or to the east of this site. You've got the Lighthouse Ice Cream on the other side on the triangular corner, and you've got the residential project going on north of this on the other side of Riverview. Specifically, the application is block 4.01. Lots 1 to 3, and a portion of lot 26.02. Lot 26.02 is the alley that extends to the south. So a portion of that will be part of this application, known as 187 Riverside Avenue. It's just under half an acre, 0.489 acres, or 21,300 square feet. We are in the BR1, Business Residential 1 zone, and the proposed use is a permitted use. Again, this is the former Bridge Avenue gas station. I'm sure everybody on the board is familiar with it at the prominent intersection. It's a one-story building. As you heard, it's about 1,700 and change square feet. There is also a small 400 and some square foot garage that exists on site today in the southeast corner that's used for storage. Today, as far as access, there is one access on Bridge Avenue, and there is a total of about 120 feet of frontage on Route 35 that is depressed curb access that serve the gas station. The entire site is paved today, devoid of any vegetation other really than one sycamore tree that is along the Bridge Avenue frontage just next to the driveway. There is also an existing billboard in the parking lot. There was a billboard on the top of the roof that has been removed. Generally, the site is flat, minor sheet flow grading towards Bridge Avenue going from east to west. There is no stormwater infrastructure on site collecting runoff, and the building is presently served by all public utilities and will continue to do so. A couple of things to point out from bulk standard.
Question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I just ask an orientation question? On the south side of the lot where the current billboard is,
Yes.
there's a chain link fence and then a parking lot between that chain link fence and the residence. Who owns that property? Is that Biravino property?
That's
Yeah, so we, there's 2 lots where the gas station are that we just purchased. And then there's 2 lots where the gas station were, lot 1 and 2. And then the lot next to that is a lot that I own. And that is where that structure is, that storage structure that was an old garage. So, and you can see it in there in the yellow. You see to the one side.
It's in the upper right-hand corner of the.
Yes,
yellow
sir.
square.
So that chain link fence is our chain link fence, and it did separate
our property from the gas station at one time. Now we obviously own all 3 lots
Okay.
and both properties.
Thank you.
So I just want to make sure I understand, Mr. McKenna, we're not consolidating these lots.
Correct.
All right, so they're going to stay separate. So are there easements being given for any portions that are, my concern is, I want to make sure that if Mr. Rallo's All Things Vic decides at some point to sell this property, that there's no portion of this site plan that is property that's owned or operated by the entity that owns Biravino. That I just want to make sure that things are completely separate. Because that would be a problem. The fact that he owns All Things today is great, but we have to assume at some point that he's going to sell one of these properties and that this site plan would not be in trouble because of that.
So what we were just talking about is the 3 lots that make up this application, lots 1, 2, and
Yes.
3, not this from Biravino.
But I thought I just heard, and I'm sorry if I misunderstood, but I thought that what I was just answered was that there is a piece of there's a portion of this that is owned by Biravino? Or did I misunderstand? Is that
No,
what Mr. Beebe just asked the question?
Is the property line on the rear of the property, let's call it the south of the property that has that chain link fence,
Yeah.
is that your property line between this site and the house next door?
So the house next door is where the yellow line is that she's following with the cursor. The line between, then there's lots 1 and 2, which is the gas station. The line between that and lot 3 is right about where the Q is in PIQ,
Okay.
going up and down on the page, east-west. But all 3 of those lots are together part of this application.
And none of them are owned by Biravino?
So the 3 lots that we're talking about in the yellow square are owned by All Things Vic.
Okay. And that, so
Currently-
those things are consolidated underneath one ownership?
They're consolidated under one ownership, and recently there's like a driveway between Biravino and those 3 lots. We thought it was an easement, but it was an actual lot, 26.02. That is also owned by All Things Vic. So everything in that square is owned by All Things Vic,
Okay.
LLC.
So there's no portion of anything we're going to hear tonight that is owned by Biravino?
Correct.
Okay, I got confused with the answer to Mr. Beebe's question because I thought I heard something different, but obviously I misunderstood.
Is 2602 part of this application?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
We're part of it. The portion of 2602 that parallels the east property line. 2602 does extend further to the south to the road, but that's not part of this. We're only referencing the portion that is parallel to this application.
Now I'm confused again. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Jackie, are you following or are you a little confused?
But
Okay.
because you're only using part of 2602, I think that speaks to the problem Mr. Lechstein is talking about. If you want to sell the pizza place down the road, part of the lot that you're talking about, this 2602, is owned by All Things Vic?
Yes.
The whole
Yes.
2602 in its
So,
entirety
If you look,
is All Things Vic.
and I'm used to having a pointer so I can, so 26.02 is about 11 feet wide between the Biravino building and Biravino property,
Runs east and west,
and it runs north-south.
runs north and south.
It essentially is the alleyway, but it's a tax lot. It's about 11 feet wide between Biravino and the building and lots 1, 2, and 3, which is where the gas station is. So at the top of the page here, you see a diagonal hatch line. That is the Biravino building and the Biravino lot. Then there's the narrow, about 11 foot wide, it's white. That is the alley that is 26.02, that is owned by All Things Vic, the same as lots 1, 2, and 3.
So if you were ever to sell that, you would either have to, All Things Vic, and you were going to sell the pizza place, you're either going to include 2602, or you're going to have to come back for a subdivision. Victor, if you want it for Biravino, you're going to have to come back for a subdivision to sell 2602 to Biravino if you're going to sell all things Vic to someone else. So as long as you're clear on that, and all of 2602 is part of this application, I think that solves
It
Mr.
does.
Lapstein's
And I-
worry.
Is that what the P/O stands for in the T&M review letter? Is piece of, portion of?
That's the crux of the matter here. So that lot, they're only showing half of it. That lot goes from Riverside to Rector. Oh, to Brower, sorry. So there's a portion that they're not showing on the site plan.
It's got to
It
be.
continues.
It continues.
It has to be on the site plan. If it's part of its application, you can't only use a portion of it. It's all or nothing unless you're coming in for a subdivision, which you're not.
No, we're not.
So it can't be a portion of 2602. It's got to be completely 26.02 has to be part of its application. I'm not
Okay.
trying to complicate or make anyone's life difficult, but we have,
Too late.
it's got to be shown on the site plan.
It's there.
Do you want a moment, Mr. McKenna, to talk, or you need a moment?
Well, I certainly don't want to hold you up.
You're not. I think this is an important point, right? I mean, this is an important point that we have to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, you probably should subdivide the damn thing, but, because if you do, I mean, is that 11 feet ever going to be helpful to Vino? And if the answer is ever yes, you probably should subdivide it.
Well,
11 feet.
With all due respect, it's 11 feet and
It doesn't matter if it's 1 foot.
I understand, I understand, but my point is that that part of that property that is adjacent to those other two properties, the home and the law office, that is adjacent, and on the other side, it's adjacent to the lot of the parking lot of Vino. I don't think that would ever be developed to include more parking, et cetera. So if it was a requirement that that piece was included in our survey, I'm confident that would be fine.
All right, so and I'm happy and I'm fine with that as long as everyone in this room agrees that the site plan is going to be revised to incorporate the entirety of 26.02 into this application. I'm okay with that. It's just otherwise we're talking subdivision and we have a problem.
Will be surveyed.
It's got to be part of the application. So the site plan needs to be revised. A survey obviously would have to be surveyed. And so you'd have to put a revised survey in and a revised site plan completely showing all of 26.02 as being part of this application.
and perhaps the easiest way to address that is to, in the event that you decide to approve the application, make it a condition.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not suggesting you need to come back.
Yeah, I
Because we're
understand.
talking about a very insignificant part of as Mr. Rowell just testified to, it's a very small piece of land.
Yeah.
But the plans have to be revised as a condition of approval to include that as part of this application.
We can do that.
Okay,
And I agree to that.
okay. And Jackie, you're okay with that? Or am I
Yeah.
missing something?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
I don't know if now is the time to talk about what access easements will need to be given to those two properties.
It is, so other people
We-
use 26.02 to get to
Yes.
where they're going?
Yes.
We can address that. No, we can very
Okay.
easily. We have, although we have received title to the property, we are going to, and this is unequivocal, we've had this discussion on several occasions, going to give easements, permanent easements to the owners of the other two properties so that they can access their property.
The law office and the multifamily?
That's exactly correct.
Mr. McKenna, why don't
I'm
you,
sorry.
can you just take 5 minutes and so that you're all on the same page? I just want to make sure. And I'm not, I think it's to everybody's benefit so that we know exactly what we're doing.
I think I can make one clarification. I wasn't
Okay.
aware of that. Okay. there were two properties that were going to have access to the rear of their property through, 2602. We were prepared to give both of them a permanent easement so they could have access to their property. I was just advised that one of them, however, and that's the property that is fronts on Bridge, isn't it?
Bridge and Morpeth.
Yeah, on Bridge and Morford. That property, has a,
Their access is on Morford now, and they put a solid curb across the back, so the only person.
Yeah, Ms. Rao, you got to speak to the microphone. I'm sorry.
So where the X is on, where the pointer is, that property there is a law office and some other offices in there. Their access is on Morford, and there's a curb across the back. It's been there for about 5 years now. The only home or property that has access is the next home, that their garage is, they would enter their garage from that property. And in fact, currently I rent that garage. So
So is there a curb cut on Morford?
yes, there was a curb cut on
And they
Morford.
come in and enter that, you would enter Broward.
I'm sorry, Broward Place. Yeah. So they come in, there's a curb cut.
They
It's
can
a,
pull into the garage that you rent from the easement.
it's a lot. It's not an easement.
Right.
So yes, they can pull in there. There's a curb cut and a curb depression, as there is on the other side on Riverside Avenue. So they, if anyone was to park there from the home, which now I rent the two garages, but they would pull in there. And that's the only other person, the law office and the other offices there enter on Brower, and they have their own parking. And it's, they've, probably 5 or 6 years ago, they redid the whole building and the parking, and I'm sure they came to this board for approval.
So the law office no longer needs that easement, and they're okay with giving it. They've never had it.
They may not be okay with, but they would have an easement if they want it, but currently they don't use it.
Okay, so let's assume I have a crystal ball, and a gentleman's going to stand up in a few minutes and say that he's not okay with the proposal that they don't have an easement. Are you willing to grant the easement?
yes.
Absolutely.
All right, so
100%.
as a condition of approval, first of all of lot 26.02 is included in this application. And you will agree to enter into an easement with the owners of, I don't know what those two other lots are.
Lot 4 and 5.
Lots.
1 and 2.
All right, so you can't just yell up, but I appreciate it. We'll get a chance. Jackie,
According to their site, the cover sheet of their site plan, it looks like it's lot 4 is the lot closest to the property in question, and lot 5 is the law office.
can you call up the site plan, Shona?
That is correct.
Let's just make sure that we get everything right.
The cover sheet, Sean. Right there. Zoom in.
Good luck with that.
All right. So we're talking about lots 4 and 5.
Correct.
Okay, so as a condition of approval, you must give easements to lots 4 and 5, access easements. Now, the only rub on this is going to be what if, they refuse to enter into the easements. We can't, you rent that garage now, you do not own that garage,
I do not own the garage.
but it's landlocked otherwise.
Correct.
I mean, that could potentially be, they may have sort of like a prescriptive easement.
has frontage on Bridge.
The garage doesn't.
The
The property does, right. The garage doesn't. It's always used it for probably going back like 100 years. So that they may have an easement by right over that property, but he's willing to enter into the easement. And that would be a condition. But the problem, board, is going to be what if and again, I'm not trying to complicate this, but this has to be dealt with. what if the people say no? Can we just cut to the chase? Can we just have this gentleman come up and find out if he's
Sure.
gonna say no to this
I
or
have no problem.
what? All right, sir, why don't you come on up? Let's swear you in.
Please tell us who you are and.
Yeah,
where
let me-
you
let- let
live
me- let me
after
swear
we
you.
Swear you in.
Do you swear any testimony you're going to give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, self you got?
Yes,
And just state your name for the record.
Gary Carpenter.
Gary Carpenter. Can you just spell I know how to spell Carpenter, but can you just spell it, please? Spell your name, your last name.
Carpenter.
Okay, and what is your address, Mr. Carpenter?
I live in Middletown, 12 Castle Drive, but property owner of 55 North Bridge Avenue, which is lot 4.01, lot 5. On the other corner lot, that point 4.01, I have one corner and then the other party with the gas station has the other corner on Riverside and North Bridge Avenue.
Are you saying you own a portion of?
I own the
Okay.
building. I own 4.01 lot 5, the law office.
You own lot 5?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
all
own
right,
the
all right,
building.
That's
okay,
number
that's fine.
55?
I've had it for, yeah, what?
Is that number 55, Gary?
It's 55 North Bridge.
All right, so it's just lot 5 in block 4.01.
Correct.
Okay.
So
So,
here, and that, I get, this is the first I've learned that alleyway is 26.02. That, I've been there 25 years, and that alleyway has been used initially, that was designed to give access to the multifamily homes that were built on North Bridge Avenue, that they were 45 feet or generally in width and on 50-foot lots, so you couldn't get a car from North Bridge Avenue. So they had that access in the back to get to the garages. And over the years, the gas station was actually years ago was a 2-family house. And then in the 40s, they took that down and put the gas station in.
but putting the history aside,
But I'm just getting, but the thing is that a few years, no, about 20 years ago, when they developed a lot to make a parking lot for Bervino, I asked at the time, if they would pave the apron going into that alleyway. And they said, no, we don't own it. Nobody owns it. I did a title search back to 1850, and we couldn't find ownership of that alleyway. I'm surprised now that all of a sudden it's 2602 and they just assume ownership of it. I don't know.
well, I think
It was never sold, I don't think, with these properties.
Well, apparently it was.
Mhm.
I assume that's how they acquired it. It was assumed. with
acquired
that.
it.
Right. So they have acquired it and they have a deed to it. I'm sure they have a title to it. So
That's correct.
let's put all that aside.
Yeah.
All right. Are you willing to accept an easement that would allow you to continue to use your property exactly the same way, not to access your garage exactly the same way you access it today?
Well, if they're gonna assume their lot, I would assume, I'd rather have my 5.5 feet of that property,
But it's
if
not-
adjoining property owners, in fact, are just getting that land, I want the 5.5 feet that I own.
You don't own any.
Well, how do
portion of
they
that.
own it? Who did they buy it from?
We bought a portion of it from the borough. We have a deed. It's been recorded. We did the same thing. We did a title search. We got the information. We went back similarly to the 19th century and traced it back and back and back. And what happened was no one was paying taxes on it. And I'm sure you're familiar with that because you would have known if you were paying taxes on it. So no one paid any taxes on it. So effectively, the borough designated it as a lot. We went to the borough and said, we have not been able to trace down anybody that is claiming ownership to this. We were in negotiations with the borough. We reached an agreement. We purchased the property. And now we are the owners of that property.
And I did see. I
This
did
was
see-
not a vacation of a paper street. That was not
Right.
not the case at all.
And there was there was a quitclaim deed submitted along with the application. So let me mark, since it's becoming a question, I'm going to mark that as exhibit 88A8 as the quitclaim deed, just so we have it here. So sir, again, so they are now the fee simple title holder of that lot. So the question to you, I think if the board approves the application,
He doesn't, and he doesn't have to pay.
that, yeah, I think that's the only way we can do it. And then it's the only way we can do it. If they don't want to accept it, they don't want to accept it.
What happens, if, the adjoining lot number 4 is sold and that is developed? Will I have the option of buying that property?
They don't own lot 4. The borough doesn't own lot 4, I don't think.
No, lot 4 and 5. Who do they buy it from? They bought it from the borough? He said they said they bought it from the borough. That's 2602.
26.02 they bought from the borough. A portion of it from the borough and part
Well,
of a
the
quick.
portion of 2602 that adjoins my property and the property next door, do we have the option of buying that from the borough?
No.
No, it's done.
2 runs from street to street. It's the entire stretch.
Yeah.
From street to street.
It is.
So they're saying, Gary, they're saying they'll give you an easement to use it.
Oh, in other words, you bought that whole thing. You didn't just buy the section.
No, we bought the whole thing.
It's one lot and they bought the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Feel
That
free to
was
make them
never
an
even-
offer to buy your part.
They was never offered, we never had an offer as a adjoining property owner.
You wouldn't, it wasn't a paper street. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent on this, but I think it all
I'm
needs
just
to be
saying,
done.
you know, I mean, that was. Okay, so in other words, they bought the whole thing, the property that's in the back of our property
Yes.
too.
Correct.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
It's one lot, so they couldn't have, they would have to come in for a subdivision if they were gonna
All right.
subdivide it, so.
All right, then.
All right.
That-
Yeah,
and-
Take the easement if you can.
Take the easement, you're gonna have the same rights and
You
you,
have to use it, but I'll take it.
yeah, and Mr. McKenna will be reaching out to you at some
I will.
point to offer you
Yeah.
to offer you the rights.
Absolutely.
So that's gonna be a condition of approval that you need to offer them the easement. I agree with you, Mr. McKenna, if either of the property owners say, we don't want the easement, that's not gonna impact your approval,
That's correct.
okay? All right, so I think we resolved that. Again, I apologize, but I think it was a necessary component to get that all wrapped into the application. Yeah, exactly. Nothing ever is shown. Okay, good. Proceed, and again.
Thank you. And it looks like Sean has A7 back on the screen, which is the aerial exhibit zoomed into the site, which is in yellow. The only other things I want to point out real quickly on this before we move into what's proposed. There are a couple situations where there are existing nonconformities with the site. 2 of them are related to the building, which is not being moved. Front yard to Riverside, 25 feet is required. It exists and will remain at 19.4 feet. And rear yard, which because we're a corner lot, rear yard, we're actually looking at the east property line, is 25 feet required, and it's 1 foot off the property line, existing and will remain, again, because we're reusing the structure.
And
The
what
other
does
existing
Does the ordinance say you need there?
25 feet.
Okay, so but you're picking up 11 with 2602.
Right,
So-
correct. So that 1 would go to 11, correct,
Okay.
or 12, whatever that, we'll check the math when we append. But the important point is the building's not moving. It's the same as it is today. If anything, that number does get better. And then the final component is the unoccupied open space. 15% is required in the ordinance. As I mentioned today, it's at 0. The entire site is or was paved. There was some of the remediation we talked about, so it's not all pavement, but it's all coverage. So it's 0 today. That will actually, I'll go into the description, but that'll actually be improved to 16.5%, which satisfies the ordinance. So we're eliminating the variance there. So that's the background of the site. Now, if you could go to Shauna, the one on the end. Well, and that would be, I guess, mark A9. So this is the alternate plan rendering. It has today's date of April 8th, 2026. As I mentioned before, when we were talking the site plans that are before the board, if you don't mind, just leave it in the, yeah, and then I'll kind of go through. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the site plans that are on file with the board are represented here. There's one minor change that I'll go through. But what this is again, it's the site plan. We put the landscaping on and color rendered it. It's the same orientation as what we're looking at with the aerial. So Riverside Avenue is on the left side of the page and Bridge Avenue is at the bottom of the page.
About it?
We're getting to that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going
Alright.
through just kind of going through what's proposed. So again, you heard from the architect what's going to happen with the building. That's going to be updated and renovated. No changes to the footprint there. The walk-in that we talked about is, you can see it here on the site plan in gray off the southeast corner of the building. That has the smaller area that's in gray that would be the fenced enclosure for the trash containers. Everything that looks like red brick will be a brick paver type material that will provide some outdoor seating. The entrance to the building is off the truncated corner at the northwest corner. And then everything beyond that on the site, we're really trying to get organized. As I mentioned, everything was fully paved and covered. We're organizing this with curbing, straight parking, defined entranceways, and I'll walk through that. I'll start on the south side because that's where the change is, just to get that in for the board. So originally, we were using the entire paved width of the property and going to the south property line with the parking. What you see here is a shift of a little over 5 feet north to pull that off the property line. That was the result of a call we had with Jackie and staff last week to pull that off and create about 5 feet of space. In order to accomplish that, we narrowed the island around the billboard. So the billboard is in that island that you see exactly in the middle of the paved area. That's where the billboard sits. So we narrowed that island. I think that's about 5 or 6 feet as well. It's still landscaped, but that allowed us to create that space. We'll now put the fence. We're placing the chain link with a vinyl solid fence in that area, 6 feet high. We're also able to provide some landscaping that you see along the edge of those parking spaces. Along the frontages, rotating clockwise, if you go to Bridge Avenue, we have the same driveway that exists today. The curb cut is the same. However, once you get into the site, you can see that we're pulling the pavement back, defining that with curb. On that side, the pavement separation from the curb meets the ordinance frontage buffer requirement of 18 feet there, and you can see we have some landscaping in that area. There's a rather large sycamore just south of that driveway that's going to remain, and you can sort of see that on the rendering being circled now. That's important because we are seeking waiver relief from driveway separation from the intersection. That's a 60-some feet today. It will remain that distance. We'd have to take down a mature, very nice sycamore in order to move that driveway. And because it's an existing condition, we feel like it's more appropriate just to keep the driveway where it is and keep the tree. As we move around, again, clockwise to Riverside Avenue, you'll see we're also pulling pavement off of the right-of-way line. As I said there, that entire stretch is depressed curb. As we understand, there is a grant in process for improvements along Riverside Avenue that will provide streetscape, sidewalk, and curb in that area. So we are not showing any improvements as that will be covered by the grant. But what we are doing is we're pulling several feet off the right-of-way line and providing landscaping east and west along the length of that property line. We're also providing a series of bollards along the edge, just in the landscaping along the edge of the seating area in order to protect that space from Riverside Avenue.
Thank you for mentioning the ballards. I was working on a Tiger Woods joke in my head to talk to you about ballards, but I'm glad you have them. That's
We
good.
took care of that.
Okay.
Rob, are you also installing curbing in the island? Because I think that's what we talked about.
Interior to the site.
Interior to the
Yes,
site.
so the parking area that there's 3 parking spaces. One of them is blue handicap, and then the end of that will all be curbed. So
No, sorry, I mean parallel to Riverside Avenue.
in the right of way, no.
On your site, on your property, to contain the landscaping and to provide additional protection from a Tiger Woods situation. Where's the north side of the landscaping?
So yeah,
Really on Riverside.
On Riverside, but on their property. So you have all this depressed curb on Riverside, right? I'd like them to protect the people sitting as much as possible by installing a full height curb that contains their landscaping, right? Like we would see on a landscape island. And the landscape island itself also has bollards in the middle for additional protection. And then it's got landscaping in the middle. So it's like a landscape island with a full height curb. I thought that's what we talked about.
So-
I apologize, Mark Whitaker, was in the meeting,
Right.
is not here.
Yeah.
I'm
I
filling.
thought he said
my
he needed it
understanding-
for grade changes too.
I'm
So
sorry?
he needed it to make the topography work as well.
Yeah, there's not significant grade change, so adding, 6-inch curb would affect that a little bit. I think to prevent that situation of a car coming through, curb's not really gonna solve that problem. Curb on a road is really just to provide guidance and separation. When you get into safety, especially safety of the patrons, the bollards are 5 feet apart. So there's about 17 bollards in that space of seating area. So we're not gonna get a car that's gonna be able to get between those 5 foot on center bollards. So from a safety perspective, I think the bollards do the trick. And then what my concern would be is if we did anything in addition to that, and then the sidewalk improvements came in, now you've got some weird grade issues going on. So we'd rather just have the landscaping come right up to the right of way line, and then that'll match up with the sidewalk that comes in.
So is it your hope that the grant will end up dealing with the curb that is currently depressed? On the
That's our
property?
understanding, yes.
Yes, that's the hope. We received a grant to do, complete and green street improvement along Riverside Avenue. So the hope is to, rebuild the sidewalk for more pedestrian.
I guess what I'd hope I'd see at some point is your coordination with them to make sure that curb is there. Not that, if it takes 2 years, I would like to see the depressed curb go away. I didn't walk the site, but a tall enough curb might flip Tiger's car as he's coming around the corner recklessly, but I would like to see the curb handled. Whoever does it at some point in association with the application.
Sean, I wasn't in the meeting with when the borough made the representation, but my understanding was that they were going to do that. Is that correct?
Yes, the plans for the improvements of the sidewalk, they haven't been solidified or planned completely as of yet. Because we just received the grant and, it's gonna take a while to.
So if the
get
town does it, great, but if they don't, you should do it. The grant falls through, whatever, they change their mind, who the hell knows? There should be a real curb along Riverside fronting this property. Not a depressed curb that would encourage someone to drive up it while everyone's out there eating pizza. So whether you do it or the town does it with the grant, I don't care, but I think it should be done one way or another at some point. And you can enter into a developer's agreement with the town or you can come back here. I don't care. But I think if we had some understanding at some point in the near future on when the town was going to execute on the grant, that would, I think, solve the problem for all of us. But if they don't, for whatever reason, I think you should agree to replace all of that curb.
And that could be a condition of approval, Mr. Chairman, that if at some point the town declares they're not proceeding with the grant, that.
Or they're not going to do the curb there.
Or
with
they're
the
not
grant
doing
or
it, whatever the case may be, that the applicant is responsible for doing that project. So Ms. McKenna, is your client willing to agree to that condition?
Now we need a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
But before you take your break, because I'm still, just for clarification, this was called an alternate plan. What's alternate? Is this the plan that you're looking for approval on?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why is it alternate?
So the first thing I described, the only change from this to as of submitted application is the 5-foot shift of those parking spaces and the narrowing of the island where the billboard is.
Okay.
That's the only alternate.
So it's not an alternate plan, it's a revised plan.
Yeah, revised plan.
Okay, because alternate usually means, you can have this one or this one.
No,
So
right.
It's a revised.
It's revised.
It's not A or B, right?
And before, I understand now. So it's really a revised plan.
And
And the only other question I have out of curiosity, that island where the billboard is, I know it's not a done deal yet, but there is a very good possibility that billboard is going to be disappearing.
Yes. I'm
Um,
very happy with it.
And everyone would be happy if it does. If that billboard disappears, is that island still necessary? And I don't know. I mean, you tell me as the applicant, do you still want the island if the billboard disappears?
Yes, and I'll explain why, because on either side of the island, there's a 24-foot drive aisle that
Okay.
is ordinance standard for backing out of a parking space and for two-way traffic. If you take a 6-foot island out, now you have 24, 24, and 6. So you've got 54 feet of open pavement.
And that's fine. If it's.
And I don't
if you
think
it's a-
that's.
Yeah,
the
if
right-
you think it's better with an island there, regardless where the billboard's there, then I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that that be discussed, because if the billboard goes away and you were going to say, yeah, then we don't need the island, that should be discussed here too. I mean, I don't care either way. If you think it's a better site plan that way, then so be it.
That's my opinion. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we want to keep,
You know,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so you want your 5 minutes to talk about the curb?
yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Okay, now we are. Let's do a quick roll call to make sure everybody's back.
Sean, are you
Are
back?
you,
That's the whole. Yeah.
okay. We're going to continue with, oh, I'm sorry.
Christina Bonatakis?
Oh, I can hold it.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Dan Mancuso?
Here.
Luis Demento? Barbara Boas? Wilson Bibi? Itzel Hernandez?
Fernandez did leave the meeting earlier at the very beginning of this application, so she wouldn't be eligible to vote on it either.
Go ahead, Ed.
Right, Rob?
So, with regard to frontage improvements on Riverside Avenue, our traffic engineer is also familiar with the signal application that's going on as well and some other things. So he's going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to table that and let him talk about it.
You passed the buck.
I do that well, yes. So what's good about going first. You get that. The only other thing I want to mention about access and circulation, which I failed to mention, is I did when I first started. There's 2 driveways on Bridge Avenue today. One of them is right up on the corner. We will be closing that. That one and anything that needs repair on Bridge Avenue will be done, curb and sidewalk there. That was in the letter. We'll do that. So that driveway at the northwest corner of the property, that'll be eliminated, the one that exists today. So what you're looking at on the plan is the only driveway coming off of Bridge Avenue centered on the property. Parking wise, the ordinance looks for 10 spaces per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area. In this case, that would require 17 spaces. This project has 17 spaces, 6 standard spaces at 9 by 18 and 1 ADA space. We're showing it as 2 8-foot sections, an 8-foot space and 8-foot loading. We did review the letter from your engineer. We'll modify that to be 12 and 5. So the space is 12, the loading is 5. That's compliant with the ADA. That matches your ordinance, which therefore eliminates 2 waivers that were originally in the application.
And they're exempt from EV because they're not redoing the parking lot. It's basically staying the same way that it is today.
True, also anything less than 25 commercial is not required.
You're exempt anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So again, waivers related to parking. Parking in the front yard is not permitted, front of the structure or designated front yard. In this case, existing the entire paved area existed towards the front yard. We do still have parking in that front yard towards Bridge Avenue. We're requesting waiver for that. I talked about the driveway setback on Bridge Avenue as a waiver. I also mentioned the 18-foot safety island that's from the curb inside the street curb into the property to the first curb line is 18 feet. We do meet that on Bridge Avenue. We meet that to the parking space on Riverside Avenue. We are a couple feet deficient for we have a couple extra feet of turnaround from that last parking space by Riverside that gets us to, where are we? I'm sorry, about a couple feet short. So we're requesting relief there. Again, on circulation, this lot would accommodate a box truck. However, from an operational standpoint, any deliveries will be handled, coordinated with Biravino. Pedestrian circulation, again, Bridge Avenue will have a new sidewalk. Access in through the parking lot through the handicap stall into the site will be accessible. Anything coming from Riverside on the northeast side will have an opening. There's an opening into the patio area from 26.02 and from sidewalk on Riverside Avenue. Again, all utilities are
Excuse me.
existing today. Yes.
Could you just repeat what you just said about, so is there access to the parking lot from the alleyway 2602?
The paved parking lot, the darker gray paved parking lot, it does extend up to the alleyway for access, correct?
So there's ingress and egress through the alleyway
There is.
to the
Yes.
parking lot?
Well, what I was referring to as pedestrian access in the northeast corner. So if you're coming, say across the frontage of Riverside on the sidewalk into the site, you can cross through 26.02 into the patio area.
But you're also saying cars can turn into that alleyway and enter the parking lot from the back and vice versa.
Today, there's a depressed curb. We are proposing to limit access there, right? We're going to go signage on that.
Right.
Close it, yeah.
Yeah.
So there will be no access in that direction on 2602.
Condition that you're going to close off.
Yeah.
Access to Riverside onto 2602.
Correct.
Correct.
But there would still be access from the other way.
There has to be.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
For the. I described some of the landscaping around the site. I'll just go into that in a little bit more detail as there are a few waivers and variances associated. One of which is unique here. The ordinance requests 40 to 50 foot on center for street trees. Our frontage trees that are the darker green circles, they range 20 to 30 feet. So we tried to get a few more trees out there. I'll defer to the board if they like what we have here, which is a few more trees, or we could go to 40 foot on center, which would probably leave, because we are going to lose the tree in the northwest corner because of the site triangle. So all the way by the corner, that tree will go away because of the site triangle. Otherwise, we would only have one on the north side of the driveway because of this 40 foot on center. And with the sycamore, we'd only be able to add one more on the south side of the driveway. So again, defer to the board. There's sort of a waiver on either side with how many trees we're providing or meeting the 40 foot separation standard. Otherwise, I described the rest of the perimeter landscaping, the island next to the handicap space. That will be a rain garden. So there's a depressed curb going in, just a narrow one, a couple feet, that allow rainwater to sheet flow from the parking lot into that as a rain garden and to recharge into the ground. After discussing with staff, we're also going to do the same condition on the island where the billboard is. So we'll provide a narrow depressed curb to allow sheet flow to get into that island to also act as a rain garden. Otherwise, because of the size of this property, we do not meet the standards as a major development requiring stormwater. So those rain gardens are really just provided for aesthetics and to provide some form of green recharge. But we are below the threshold, both for the borough as well as the Soil Conservation District. And because we are reducing impervious and adding green space, we will have a net reduction in stormwater from
Excuse
the
me,
site.
I have one question for Engineer Jackie. Do they need to remove that corner tree for site triangle? And I feel like that tree's there really not going to block anyone entering the site from visibly seeing what they need to see. I'd hate to.
It's the intersection site triangle, not the driveway site triangle. So
Okay.
there's you don't see it on here, but it's on the plan. It's 25 feet in either direction from the corner is the clear site triangle.
Okay, and just remind me again on 2602, looking at the current state, I feel like a drunk Tiger Woods could just drive down 2602 between Beer Vino and the gas station. So what, and you may have testified to this already, what are you doing to block 2602? Because right now I could drive right down 2602. I mean, I'm looking at it. I could fit my car down there. What are you doing to block that off from?
So right now it'll be signed, but what we could do is we could put a planter box there that'll provide
I think
something
that would be a
solid.
good idea just to cause a little concern, someone wanting to pull down that easement. Crash into Gary's office on the way out. I mean, it's all bad. Hmm. He's at this balance because it was in Florida and she didn't bring him back. Sometimes she wants me to come get him.
What about the other side of 2602? I know you have to provide the easement to allow people off of whatever that street is to access the garage in lots 4 and 5, but where it reaches this property above it, are you blocking that off also to stop the Tiger Woods from continuing down the street?
Yeah.
Okay, so it would have to be, so you'd need blocking on both sides of 26.02.
No. So definitely from Riverside Avenue,
Clearly.
no ingress or egress there.
Agreed.
For 2602 coming from the south
Yeah.
into this property, this lot, it'll be signed for no access, but we're not gonna physically restrict that.
So
And-
someone could drive their car all the way down
Yes.
from, what's the side street called?
Route.
Brower? So someone could come down Brower.
It'll be signed, do not enter.
Well, they're gonna come down it to, well, once they know that the place is there, they're gonna drive down it.
Well, the people with the easement can ignore the do not enter sign.
Right.
No, the do not enter is from here going south. So put a sign up off
On the other side.
the other side
The
of,
other side.
right.
No, go.
It looks like there's
Right.
probably a white van
The van
roof that you see
right
there. We'll put
there.
a sign there that'll say do not enter.
Why don't you want to actually put some sort of blockage there?
Well, didn't you say you're gonna put a giant planter there?
They just
No, we're
won't
gonna put
know.
the planter on Riverside to keep anybody from coming in from Riverside. That would, without a doubt, will be restricted because of the interconnection with the state highway.
Why would you want to invite vehicles to continue down Broward? Because someone's gonna do it, whether there's a sign there that says don't do it or not. Why would you not want something to block it?
So, not to punt again, our traffic engineer is here. I think it's not that we're inviting people to do it. One of the comments came up is that it's gravel. We're gonna leave it gravel because we don't want to encourage or invite people to look at that as a
You may
main
not want
gravel
to
way.
encourage it, but people are gonna do it. If it's 1 AM and I'm drunk and I want it, or I'm sort of drunk and I want a piece of pizza, and this is a nice place to go to, and I don't know if you're gonna be open to 1 or whatever, but I would be if I was a pizza place in Red Bank. You're gonna, and they can't get in there because those parking lots are full. You're gonna drive down there and park along the street.
So our traffic engineer will get into details. I don't know that there's any negatives associated with the use of that 26.02 to get to Brower. Right?
Is
We're
there
not
any
going to
se-
encourage it. We're going to sign it, do not enter.
Is there any
But for people to
separation?
come the other direction,
Is there any separation from the main road? Is there gonna be a fence?
no.
There's nothing, so I could drive down Broward and pull into this parking lot regardless of whether you have a
Correct.
no, do not enter or not. I mean, I don't know if the board cares or not, but the board should be aware of that. I think it was, yeah.
So again, our traffic engineer,
That's fine.
yeah,
It's not restricted, right? You'd have both directions going. Because the garage needs to be accessed. You're not, it's not gonna be a one-way
No,
out.
I understand that, but if there was no, I just want the board to be aware
Mhm.
that if you have the access all the way through into this lot, people, regardless of whether they put a sign, do not enter. people are going to drive down that alleyway and to enter into the parking lot. Yeah, or whatever. I mean, people are gonna know because
Right.
if you're familiar with the site, you're gonna know that you also can exit that way.
So this is a valid conversation.
But it's not for you.
It's, yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So I don't want to go too far down this road without you being able to hear from our traffic engineer.
Good, well, it's almost my bedtime, so speed it up.
I'm trying. I don't have much left. Lighting, we have about 15, 16-foot highlights, 15-foot highlights throughout the site to provide adequate safety. They'll all be LED lights. We saw notes in the engineering review letter. We'll be doing some modifications based upon the narrowing of the island and the ability to put some lights on the south property line. Everything will satisfy the half-foot candle requirements as well as satisfy any spillage standards on site. So lighting will be appropriate. Last thing I want to talk about is the freestanding sign at the corner. It exists today, identifying the gas station, Bridge Avenue Gas. That structure will remain where it is. It does exist just north of the property line, slightly in the right of way. We intend to reuse it, reuse the structure and the base. We will be refacing it so that it shows the restaurant as well as Welcome to Red Bank on there. Today, the sign area is 54 square feet. We will not go larger than 54 as we redo it. 10 feet is allowed, so we would ask for continuation of that existing nonconformity. The sign is 20 feet high. Again, will not go higher than 20 feet with any modifications. The ordinance says 6 feet high. Because this is a corner property and a corner sign, we do want to, excuse me, maintain underclearance within that site triangle for visibility. So we need underclearance of 8 feet. So the 6 feet really doesn't work anyway, but we will stay within what's there today. I mentioned the setback. I'm proposing to keep that the way it is. And the illumination, we are proposing to continue with the internal illumination for the sign. I went through a couple variances and a number of waivers as I went through this and provided the testimony. As I mentioned, most of the waivers that are in the letter are either eliminated by the design modifications, they're reduced in general by the overall improvements to the site, or there are things that remain the same. So where that leaves us is we've got a site, we have an adaptive reuse of an existing building, improvements to the site, and we're looking at the variance and waivers really in a C2 capacity where we're looking at the positive and negative criteria. So I just want to point out quickly three purposes of the municipal land use law that are benefited from this application. One is light, air, and open space. As I mentioned, the building coverage is the same, which meets the ordinance standard. The impervious coverage is being reduced. So we're improving that. We're providing, therefore, additional space for vegetation and trees and shrubs. Item B is to encourage location and design of transportation routes to promote free flow of traffic, resulting such facilities and routes which will result in congestion or blight, or discouraging that. In this case, again, we're going to eliminate any vehicular access from Riverview Avenue. We're going to take away an access at the corner on Bridge and limit ourselves to a single access to the site, which is a significant improvement from a traffic and transportation standpoint. And item number 3 is to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design. Again, adaptive reuse is a great tool to promote Purpose I there. We're using existing building. We're improving it aesthetically. We're aesthetically improving the landscaping by providing some where almost none exists, and we're improving traffic circulation. So I think we're promoting Purpose I. With all of that, notwithstanding negative criteria, everything really with this site is a mitigation of anything that's there today and a significant improvement. So I don't see any substantial negative criteria. And with that, again, you'll hear some traffic testimony, but overall, related to the variance, which aren't really related to traffic and circulation, with the positive criteria and lack of substantial negative criteria, it's my opinion that there's no substantial detriment to the public good through granting these variances, and that granting these variances will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan. That's all I have. I tried to incorporate anything from the engineering review letter into my testimony. If there's anything I missed, I'd be happy to go through it with you. They will be on the roof.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I got it.
Does anyone else,
Those are on the roof.
Yeah.
Correct.
does anyone from the board have any questions from it? Is it Frood or
Fruit. Yeah.
Frood regarding his testimony? Does anyone from the public have any questions for Mr. Frood? Come on up, sir. Use the mic. Give us your name and address. Comments later. Comments later. Questions regarding his testimony. Yeah. You got to hang on till the end to tell us you love it or hate it. Sorry. All right, next.
John McCormick, traffic engineer.
Mr. McCormick, do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and about the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And just state your name, spelling your last name for the record.
Yes, John McCormick, CCORMACK.
And you're a licensed traffic engineer. And you're a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey, and your license is in good standing.
That's correct.
Thank you. That's all we need. Go ahead.
John, you were retained by the applicant in this matter to conduct a traffic study, which you have submitted to the board. But perhaps we could go directly to some of the issues that have been brought up
Yeah,
to accelerate the timing.
Yeah, because never in the history of the world has a traffic engineer that's been hired by the applicant ever testified that their application sucks. That's never, ever happened.
I'm
So,
going to tell you why this one is really
Yeah,
good.
we'll do it quickly
I
and
understand.
then get to the other stuff we talked about.
I understand.
Because I realize you want to say that it's a good application. I get that.
I
We just
understand,
don't want
Mr.
it to
Chair.
take all night.
So the way I look at it, this project has significant safety benefits, traffic ends. We're cleaning up the access. You've already heard that, the frontage. We're reducing significantly the activity that could come and go from the site. And I'll talk about it in a minute. We have this gateway aesthetic improvement that we are going to tie into and have a seamless frontage. We did provide a traffic impact study dated February 25th. It talked about access, trip generation comparison, et cetera. I'll hit the highlights. Some of it Rob hit, but I'll just hit it succinctly here so that we can then talk about anything you need for access. Riverside Avenue, DOT's jurisdiction. Currently, as Rob said, there's 130 feet of open curb. Under the proposal, there'll be none. We're closing the entire frontage for vehicular access. It's a significant safety improvement, not only for the drivers entering, exiting the site, but also for the drivers coming into town and driving past the site. Bridge Avenue, municipal jurisdiction. Right now, there's 2 full movement driveways. One of them, as Rob mentioned, is so close, it's in front of the stop line. So that driveway is being closed. We are cleaning up and leaving the south driveway in the same location as it is today. We are proposing a do not block the box pavement marking in front of the driveway to make sure the driveway stays clear for our turning movements in and out. Brower Place is off the back. It's off to the right of the image. I'm calling this the locals driveway, right? This is currently it's a driveway, it's an alley, it's a lot. We've talked about it. We are going to maintain it exactly as it is. We propose it to be an entrance only for our site. What that means is on the blacktop at the top of the page here, we're proposing do not enter signs and things to restrict vehicle exit from our site onto the alleyway, onto that lot. We want to sign it, obviously, however we can do that, we want to maintain it as one way. There's only 100 feet of length between what you can see colorized in the rendering and Brower. Doesn't seem like a lot. Someone may use it. I don't think it's the end of the world if someone does. It's about 12 feet when you really look at it. But we acknowledge that it's too narrow and it should be signed as one direction. We want it to be entrance.
From Broward.
From Brower, yes. Talk for a second about traffic generation and the comparison. Obviously, it's a significant reduction. The restaurant.
Can you go back to now?
Yes.
No, because before you said you were going to put a signage up on Broward indicating do not enter.
No,
That's what was said before.
no.
So now the signage is going to be where saying do not enter from the parking lot.
So if you come to the top of the parking lot, at the top of the screen, there's that beige garage on the right side.
Yeah.
There's going to be signage somewhere right there that is facing into the parking lot. So that if you're in the parking lot, you are dissuaded from going out the alleyway. We are trying to maintain the alleyway as an entrance. Obviously, lots 4 and lots 5, if lot 5 wants to use it, can use it as two-way because of the magnitude and volume of traffic associated with those 2 lots. We want to use it as a one-way in. Similarly, we just discussed when you come to the top of the parking lot and the cooler and the trash fence is on your left, we were going to put some signs there. We can enhance that with a planter box or something like that so that no vehicle can possibly go between the 2 buildings and out to Riverside.
Right, that's not,
That's
I
not
think-
the
I
problem.
think everybody gets that.
Yep.
And you're gonna put a planter on the north end as well to restrict people.
To restrict anyone coming in. Eventually, and I'll get to that, there will be a full height curb. So you won't even be able to get off of Riverside onto that lot
Well, you shouldn't be able to.
unless Tiger Woods is driving you.
Okay.
Right.
So you're agreeing to what the chairman had suggested before? Is that what I'm hearing? That you'll take it on if?
So, all right, let's talk about the curb and sidewalk. So the curb and sidewalk, as we understand it, there's a borough grant to do streetscaping in and around this area. There's also a borough application before the DOT to put a traffic signal at Bodman. I will say associated with the VNA building, but not conditionally associated with it. That application is more than halfway through DOT. We have gotten positive comments. That traffic signal is going to happen. Along with that traffic signal, there are streetscape improvements, as you would imagine, coming out of Bodman, going all the way down Riverside to the corner, which is just off the left of this image. There are sidewalk improvements in front of Biravino's driveway because Biravino's driveway is now part of the traffic signal. That application can be amended in our next revision set of plans to include sidewalk and curbing from the Biravino's driveway to Bridge Avenue. So there'll be 2 shots at it. Either the borough does it with a streetscape improvement grant, or the borough, because it's a borough application, will do it as part of the traffic signal and streetscape installation.
And are you okay with that curbing needing to be done prior to a CO issuance?
We would respectfully ask that that not be a condition of CO because of the uncertainty of whether it's a borough streetscape grant or it's the Bodman traffic signal improvement.
So the damn thing could take 10 years. And ideally, it shouldn't. But I'm not comfortable with this location being developed and open. I mean, you call it a depressed curb on Riverside Avenue. The curb is flat with the road. It's so depressed. I mean, it makes like 1929 look like, I don't know what, summer camp. It's clearly at grade.
That's right. That's what the press curb is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not there. It's there. It's underground.
Yeah, it's an open.
So I am uncomfortable with this place opening, due respect, without that curb and bollards being done.
Well, no, all right. So the bollards and the landscaping that you see on the Riverside edge will absolutely be done. It's just whether the curb that rides along Riverside Avenue and the 4 foot of sidewalk will be done. Quite honestly, a curb is not going to stop an errant vehicle. The bollards are.
Okay.
Yeah, they're only gonna be 5 feet apart. The bollards.
Right.
There's 17 of
Okay. All right, keep going.
Okay.
This is off topic, but you touched on the traffic light.
Yeah.
Remind me, at the traffic light, so there's landscaping, there's sidewalk along Riverside.
Yep.
That stops right now where there's landscaping for Biravino. That's all that sidewalk is gonna continue all the way down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the landscaping is gonna be cleared, right?
Yes, currently the application in front of DOT includes the entirety of the Biravino frontage. Because we're tying into the driveway with the traffic light, we're coming down in front of the Biravino building, and currently it stops at 2602. Now, what we will do, the next revision plan we submit to the DOT, we will extend that streetscape, that curb sidewalk from 2602 to Bridge Avenue.
And board, I've also agreed, like, so Saxum and the borough needs an easement onto my property. I've agreed to give that easement at no cost to allow that to happen because I think it's a safety hazard and it needs to be done. And it should have been done years ago. It's obviously a very, very dangerous situation. So now there'll be a traffic light and curb all the way in front of Biravino, and that's part of that easement process and what is already approved and would.
And a safe left turn into your site for you.
Correct. I
Yeah.
mean, if
for
you
a
want,
southbound vehicle.
right, if you want meatballs and spaghetti, you want to come in safely.
I get it.
You're right, though, Dan. That's exactly right.
Makes great sense. I mean, we talked about it forever and everybody said, oh, no, state will never do it. So I'm amazed.
They're gonna do it.
They're very close.
We're
Yeah,
very
I'm
close.
amazed. That's great news.
I remember Mr. Mayor Mena looked at me and said, I don't know, but okay.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we're very close.
Good.
Okay. There's nothing else here in my notes. I mean, we've said it all, unless you have any questions for me or Jackie has any
I'm
questions.
going to touch on the the restricted movement of the driveway. In our letter, we suggest that they only have left in and right in, right out. They're asking for full movement
For both driveways?
for.
There's
bridge.
only one the driveway on Bridge.
So they're asking to be able to make a left out of their driveway on Bridge. They're gonna solve that by striping a box on the roadway. So
Look,
Yeah,
I'll add to
I
that.
don't think a left on Bridge is all that necessary with. Yeah, but you're not encouraging people to exit the easement on 2602 to Brower. I get that.
One way that way.
Right, but I could turn right out of your driveway, right on Riverside and go wherever the hell I'm going without necessarily having to turn left south onto Bridge Avenue.
Well, what I'll say is the driveway is existing. It's been there forever. It was a gas station with tremendous amount of activity. The activity has dried up significantly with the change in use. The do not block the box will help maintain clear space and clear sight line. The traffic signal, the phasing of that signal is very clear that there is a significant portion of the 2 minutes in the cycle, there is no vehicle coming down Bridge. So there are significant gaps. We would respectfully request keeping the full movement there.
it locks his site up if they can't, if somebody can't make that left, it just
But
messes up their
they'll
site.
turn right and go they'll
Right.
give up and go the other way.
Agree.
I mean, cars coming south over the bridge haul ass into that intersection
Mhm.
and see the stop sign a little too late or the speed limit sign a little too late for your driveway. Because that speed limit sign is further south along that curb with the lighthouse. So
Yeah.
that's my worry is cars coming in the same way that we didn't want cars turning north out of the old Exxon station
Mhm.
with that other application.
But as I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, there is a very clear distinction when that light turns red for southbound Route 35 or Riverside. As soon as that light turns red, if you think about it, Rector Place, they do not make the 180-degree turn and turn into Bridge. And no one can come from Molly Pitcher and make a left onto Bridge. So there is a very distinct gap in the traffic where there is no one coming south from the traffic light along Bridge.
That's true.
You know what? Perhaps I could offer this as an alternative. Suppose we leave it as two-way. However, we put a condition in that in the event that traffic safety, the Traffic Safety Division of the Borough Police Department thinks that there's a problem and they want to change it, we're consenting to allow them to change it.
I'm okay with that. I like that.
Okay? That way, if it does end up being a problem, then everybody's gonna be okay.
You'll sign it, right turn only,
If that's the case, we would sign it right turn out only or no left turn.
right? Either way, maybe
Either way.
both.
Mhm.
Okay.
Would say that it can be a right and left on the bridge unless the police department or traffic safety officer, unless traffic safety officer,
Determines it to be unsafe.
yeah, determines it to be unsafe, at which point it will only be a right turn out.
And
Yes.
and included in that is as of today, or as of if and when we're approved and it's built, construction's completed, it'll be, you can take a left. However, if it's determined by the traffic safety officer and the Borough Police Department that they take the position that it's unsafe, then we are going to be required to cooperate and do it.
And you're not gonna come in here and ask for relief from that
No.
when the time comes.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
like
it'll be a right turn only with proper signage
If requested
if
by the
requested by
town.
traffic safety officer.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, because nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. It's just that I think Mr. McCormick's, I have great respect for his perception. And I would say that I agree with his opinion. However, if we're proven wrong, then we've got to change.
Okay. I like that. What else you got?
That's it.
Excellent. Does anyone from the board have any questions for Mr. McCormick? Anyone from the public have any questions for Mr. McCormick? This isn't your chance to complain or comment yet, but you're getting closer. Yeah, is it really going to be the proportions that are in the submission?
Big do you want it to be?
I want it to be exactly as you sent in the application that we have. Because I think it looks fantastic.
Can we see that?
It looks like the Welcome to Red Bank is perhaps twice the height of the Rollo sign.
In proportion, if you like it that way, we would love to make
I
it that
love
way.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And I think, I don't know what the hell, what do you got? Some, the logo of Red Bank or something on top?
It's basically your logo. We took it from some images that I think Shauna gave to us.
All right, well,
when we
get a
met.
good version of it before you build the sign, because this is blurry as hell.
No, we'll let you approve it before
Oh, I
we
don't
build the
care. No,
sign.
I don't want to do that. You can
No.
send it to Jackie to approve. I don't
Yeah.
want to look at
Just a quick question. So the lighting on the signage and the lighting on the building, it's going to be, Rollo's is going to be halo lighting, the halo lighting. But is there internal lighting for the Welcome to Red Bank sign?
How would you like it to be lit?
How would the board like it?
I would just like it to be lit.
Internally or externally?
You know, I don't
I
love
mean,
internally lit, but externally is a pain in the ass to do. I don't care how you light it, whether it's internal or external. No LED.
You do care. I care.
Okay, what do you, then tell everybody what you care about. I want to hear it, internal or external. I know we don't love internally lit signs.
It's facing the river, which we don't permit lit signs facing the river.
It is existing.
Not Welcome to Red Bank.
No,
The sign is.
The sign is existing.
The existing sign for the gas station, however many square feet it was, is that what you're suggesting? You're not increasing the size of with including Welcome Red Bank and Rollo's?
Correct.
correct.
I mean, it's barely facing the river. Does anyone else have an opinion about this?
I kind of love mirroring the existing sort of retro form of that sign.
just changing the, yeah,
So internally lit,
if it's internally lit today.
and,
Currently, it's internally lit.
and it'll be turned off when?
With the light, you would want to see Welcome to Red Bank when it's dark, I guess, for it, I don't, whatever you guys want.
What do we normally?
2
do
a.m.,
for
4
time
a.m., I don't know.
on-
Our lights at Beer Vino are on from dusk till, because of safety and people in the parking lot and our cleaning crews, to 4 a.m. Our general lights in the parking lot, our light signs, everything goes out at 4. I would, whatever you would,
How, do you know what time the building is gonna be open, your restaurant's gonna be open?
I think it was 11 or 12 in your.
yeah, and we said Rallo's Pizza, I mean, it's
That's
gonna be,
off at 11.
it's gonna be some kind of, whatever we decide, some kind of restaurant and name,
Right.
whatever, it's kind of a placeholder, but
Right.
whatever, like, it'll be like Beer Vino hours. Like, I would say on Beer Vino, like during the week, by 11 o'clock, we're pretty much done. Maybe midnight on Friday and Saturday, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on Sundays. But we said 12 o'clock.
So the Rollo sign is gonna be off by whenever Barabino's, same.
Currently,
Let me just stop in a second, because I want to make sure people come into meetings all the time and they give time closures. They're not meant to be conditions of approval unless the board specifically wants them to be conditions of approval. And I tend to not like, you must close your business by 11 o'clock to be, I understand trying to get an idea. But rather than make it, because I don't think he should be, it's not my opinion, it's not my concern, but I mean, it's not, I don't get the vote. But the board has to be very, very careful, because if you say it's off by 11, then the business got to be closed by 11, and I don't think that's what the board wants. So you're probably better off to say the lights need to be turned off with an hour after they close, or
I like that idea.
something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just to protect you.
well, how about, so they're gonna be on the same switch, whatever's on that board, the Rallo and the Red Bank.
Yeah.
So you would want the Welcome to Red Bank sign shut off when it's,
The only reason why I'm concerned is because we get these random calls from neighbors that are across the street complaining that the lights on, and your neighbor is going to be a residential.
But who's that facing?
It's facing the
It's
new
facing
Saxon building.
The new.
Oh,
Saxon
okay,
building.
right.
So you'll have people that call in that move into that building, and for some reason that light disturbs them. So that's just my
Can
concern.
it be dimmed?
I don't think they're dimmable, but
Okay.
we'll agree, an hour after we close, we'll shut it
I
off.
think that's the.
I think that's a good idea.
That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's great.
That's
We'll
good.
set a timer, so an hour after we close, it goes off.
That's
It's
good.
only because I know these complaints are gonna come because someone moves in there and somehow the light is disturbing them.
All right, I'm gonna call it, for lack of a better term, the standalone sign.
Yeah.
All right, 1 hour after closing, standalone sign will be shut off.
What else you got, Ed?
Nothing.
Does anyone else have?
Pursuant to your request.
Thank you. And so past my bedtime. Does anyone else on the board have any questions or comments regarding the application? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if you have any comments you'd like to make, please come up. Come on up, sir. You've been very patient. Tell us who you are, where you live, and you can go from there.
And I'm gonna swear you in. Do you swear any testimony?
mic on?
Do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name, spelling your last name for the record,
Eric Wokas, Wokas.
and your address, and it's Eric, ERIC?
Correct.
Okay, and what's your address, Mr. Wokas?
53 Leroy Place, Red Bank.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Well, this is a good segue to what I wanted to talk about. I'm a member of the Environmental Commission on the Green Team, and I did receive these plans from Shauna. We did respond to them. I don't know if any of them looked at our responses. I didn't hear anything up here.
We have
since I've been
them,
here, so-
and we actually marked them into evidence as exhibit. Your environmental commission?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exhibit B3.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I did just do some blow-up pictures. Everyone's familiar with this, obviously. It's been there since last century. So it's kind of this is the gateway to Red Bank, and this is what you see. And I brought, here's the
Mr. Welker, I don't know if we're picking you up. Can you just talk straight into the microphone, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. This is the, well, this is, like I say, it's been here.
All right, so,
since the 1970s.
so we need to mark these in. I'm gonna mark them in as exhibit W, I'll mark them both in as W1 and W2. Locus 1 and 1, and the first one's gonna be what exists today,
The existing. and the
exists
proposed.
today, and W2 is gonna be what's proposed. Go ahead.
Correct, okay. Well, it's an improvement, but I don't think it's that great of an improvement. And Shauna brought up a good point. When they build the condos next door, if I'm an owner of one of those condos, I'm gonna have that sign right outside my window. And if I spend $1 million on a condo, I don't want a pizza sign shining through my window. And the other issue too, internal and external lighting. External lighting is preferred, down lighting is preferred. The design light consortium that JCP&L and other utilities use for dark skies and development of lighting for quality of life, protection of wildlife, recommends down lighting to cut down on light pollution. So having a sign with down lighting, with the lights faced externally, with the lights facing down, is the preferable method. Also, light temperature of like 3,000 K is preferable too, which is kind of like a yellow light. You want to eliminate or reduce as much of that violent blue light that you can. So those are things that should be taken into consideration. On the plans, the architect had put on there, and I had wanted to mention before, on the side of the building, he has these up-down lights on it where the light shines both directions. They should be replaced with just down-facing lighting. Again, cut down on light pollution. It's nothing to do, won't interfere with security or anything, and still, I think aesthetically, it would still look just as nice. But it should be down-facing lighting.
You mean that light on the corner above the entrance? And along each side of
These,
the old garage
if you look
doors?
on the building plan, I think he knows what I'm talking about. They're
They're up on the
Those are
screen.
what we're
yeah,
seeing
okay,
there.
they're along the side on the pillars there. It looks like, yeah. See, they're facing up. They should be facing down. Down
Why?
only. They're facing up now, but they should be facing down only. And you just put the lights up higher, I guess. So it should be down facing. The other thing that was mentioned was the roof. I know you got the rain garden. I'm not sure if the runoff, the water from the roof will go into the rain garden or not. That was just something I just wanted to mention. That's not the case, but the main issue is really is the signage in front. That, again, this is the gateway entrance to Red Bank. And again, we've had like what, 2 gas stations, I guess, as the entrance into Red Bank. Is that really what you want Red Bank to be represented by? No.
No, I'd rather have
And
a
I know
pizza
the pizza
place.
place. And
Yeah.
yes, and I'm great. I'm so grateful that they're putting the pizza place in there. If their pizza is as good as their Archetti, then it's going to be great. But I don't think they need a sign. I think the word of mouth and the quality of the food is going to be enough to make that business go. Plus, they got the sign on the building, so I don't really think they need a street sign. What Red Bank needs, though, is a street sign, a welcome to Red Bank sign. Doesn't have to be 20 feet up in the air. It can be down near the ground. And a good example.
Well, it's in the air because of the site visibility, the site triangle. If you put it too low to the ground, it's causing a problem with cars turning the corner, not being able to see properly, because you can
Well,
turn.
the sign can be eliminated. We don't need the sign.
Well, you just said you want a welcome Red Bank sign. It needs to,
Yeah,
it
right,
need,
right, right.
it
Well, I don't
needs to
think
be
has
up in
20
the
feet.
air.
I don't think it needs to be 20 feet in the air. And plus the site triangle doesn't have to be right in the corner. It can be inside relatively close.
It does have to be up in the air because under my lease with the billboard company, I can't block the billboard. So if you look at that sign, currently the sign is above the billboard. And the
Right.
reason it is there is because of site triangle and because of the billboard. So
Below the billboard.
But
So
then-
how many feet is the billboard up?
the 18 feet.
Okay,
But the
so-
problem is if you go below the billboard, then it's a site triangle problem
It
for
doesn't have
the
to be right
engineer.
on the corner. Be inside, so it doesn't interfere with the site triangle.
I don't hate
And I'm
it.
not talking about it. Hmm?
I don't hate it.
Oh, okay. Well, I just the only example I have, I found in Highlands, which how they got this. But beautiful entry sign, says a lot about Highlands, plus it gives all the
Well,
opportunity
what, can
to show the
Mr.
different
I'm sorry.
activities that goes on.
Mr. Wilkes, can you just tell us what that is that you are holding? Because,
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a representative example of a sign that Red Bank should consider.
and what is it though?
I'm sorry.
Is that on
Welcome
Route,
to
that's
Highlands.
on
It's a
Route
welcome
36
change.
before you go
Again.
down into town?
Correct.
So that's
It's
at
up
the
on
top
36.
along Route 36 before you go down, like if you're going to the ferry or to downtown.
Only because I think this is just a good example. I mean, you can come up with anything you want, but, it was something I spotted and I thought because underneath the sign, you can see it has all the different little,
Yeah.
activities that are going on in the town. Hey, if you're coming across the bridge, you want to know when the street fair is coming on, you want to know when they're gonna.
Oh, don't worry, they'll put up 9,000 signs for the streets.
Well, okay,
Streets.
this is probably one, talk about sightline, that's perfect sightline, for people coming off the bridge. But again, it doesn't have, obviously, you don't want to block the traffic, you just have to bring it in a little bit. So it doesn't block the traffic sightline, so.
Sir, can
This
I ask,
doesn't have to be part, well,
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you aware of the discussions that we've had with the borough concerning
not
what,
aware of anything. I'm only aware-
concerning what the borough wants? Because if you had been in on any of those discussions, you would have heard a different point of view. That's all,
Okay,
that's all I'm
sure.
suggesting
All
to
right,
you.
that's fine.
Okay, and
All
I
right.
appreciate and
Mhm.
respect your opinion and your right to have your
Yeah.
opinion. That's not what we heard when we met with borough officials
All
and
right, well-
what the borough wanted, so.
Okay, well, all right,
And
if I could meet with the borough officials and discuss this with them, I'd be glad to. But, in my opinion, I think the sign is too high. I don't think it's that much of an improvement over what we had before. I love the welcome to Red Bank, but I think we could do a lot better. And this is an opportunity to do it, so just do it. And again, the sightline issue, I don't think is really an issue because the sign could just be put back. I can't believe that not having the sign up in the air is going to affect your business whatsoever. It's just, you guys, like I said, you make good food, word of mouth, and you got plenty of signage right there on the building. I mean, you'll do fine. This is just unnecessary, really.
This sign is a product of discussions with the borough.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. All right.
And can I
That's
just,
my opinion. Yeah,
Thank
I'd
you.
be
We-
glad to meet anybody.
It's okay, it's
I'll be
okay.
We
glad to meet with
appreciate it.
anybody at the borough and discuss this with them as well.
and can I just confirm the base of the sign will be the existing base? Or will it be a new sign just conforming to the similar,
It'll be in the same
in
location,
the same
but it'll
location?
be a new sign.
A new sign
But the base is exactly the same.
is
Yeah.
this.
The supports, the
same.
base exactly the same. Where,
You just
where it
need-
says Bridge Avenue Gas, obviously that would come down and would
Yep,
be
yep.
replaced by what you see there.
Got it. I mean, I agree, that this is, it's important. It is a gateway. When we did the master plan, our planners also expressed a lot of ideas. We did a study just in this area because it is really important, right? And we have an opportunity to get it right. They had other ideas. You could do something sculptural, like what really speaks to Red Bank.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I also appreciate, there is something a little bit historic about that sign, even its placement, it's familiar to people, and I like that you're preserving that. Would you be open, Mr. Rollo, to, and I know there've been discussions already, but would you be open to doing a review with the Visual Arts Committee for the final appearance of that sign?
It's, as long as the post, the sign stays as it is and our sign, we split it.
Yeah.
However you want the Red Bank portion of it to look. If someone gives us the design, we'll give that to our sign people and they'll put up that sign as you like. The design of the Red Bank sign is, I think it is very important. And whatever the town or the borough decides, we would be glad to put up in that space.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. I mean, just sort some folks who have some great visual ideas, still conforming to these parameters. It could also be something, to your point, like maybe we want to minimize the light, so similar to what's shown, it's a black background with white lights, if it's internally lit, so we're being sensitive to that. So I'd love to get some other folks' thoughts.
All right, I just want to make sure that I have this right. So the Rollo's portion, and understanding it's probably not going to be called Rollo's, and it's just, all right. So the Rollo's portion of that sign would remain. And because Mr. Rollo is only talking about the Welcome to Red Bank sign, and that's all you're talking about going to Visual Arts Committee.
Yeah, the
The upper half of it.
portion.
Yes. The sign the business part would stay exactly as it is.
As long as it's not crazy, if they come up with something that's reasonable, like, Picasso's not designing it.
And they
Good.
work together. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, if we literally took the same block letters of the Bridge Ave gas, but said welcome to Red Bank or something, like that would look cool to me. But
Yeah.
I would want someone to,
But that's just,
that
that's the sign that's used, kind of the Welcome to Red Bank sign that's been used. So we put it up there.
Yeah.
If there's some other display that you would like, we would agree to use in that display.
All right, so I'm going to put work in conjunction with Visual Arts Committee.
And Mark,
Yeah.
I'm just curious about the billboard. Does that have to be there?
Right, right now.
Don't even,
so-
don't
so-
even go.
Yeah, the billboard has to be there right now. There's a long-term lease with the billboard. There is a pending potential settlement with in a zoning board case that would eliminate that billboard, but it's not definite. Mr. Rallo has no control over that.
Well,
We fought for its removal.
Yes, I know you
I've been
wanted it
here,
out of
I've
here.
been here a lot.
yeah,
But it's not under your control. You could not.
Absolutely not.
He could not remove that billboard if he wanted to, which he does.
I bought the property subject to that lease and that billboard
Right.
how long
As
is
it is.
that lease for?
currently to 2041.
And then it probably has a right of renewal.
No, it doesn't.
oh.
But that's the lease that Jimmy signed. We've made some concessions with out front, and I know that the town is working hard.
Yeah.
With Outfront, too.
Hopefully it will be going away.
And maybe imagine if every day someone pulling out of one of those parking spaces knocked the sign over with their car. At some point, they're going to say enough. We don't need this sign anymore because every week they have to come and have somebody put it back up. That would be okay. Yeah, well, that's another job for Tiger Woods. You're right. That's true. Thank you, Mr. Wilkus. Appreciate it. Anyone else from the public have any comments, questions? Love it, hate it? Anything else you want to say? Gary, come on up. Mr. Carpenter, you're still under oath.
I want to address the Brower Street entrance to the access road that goes to 2602. Right now, there's no sidewalk on that 11-foot stretch. When Biravino developed their property in 2005, they put a new parking lot in there. Used to be a house there. The town required them to put in 110 feet of sidewalk. When I developed my property in 2001, the town required me to put in 130 feet of sidewalk between Bridge Avenue and the end of my property. But there was that 11-foot spot between us, between Mr. Rallo's property and mine, that nobody seemed to own, and the town never put a sidewalk in there. So it's never had a sidewalk. And actually the grade doesn't comply with anybody. If the town would go out and inspect it, it does not comply with the ADA recommendations. You couldn't get a wheelchair or a stroller or anything. It's so uneven. So that has to be, graded and a sidewalk put in.
Is there a driveway apron now to come
There's a
off of?
driveway apron, but the apron only goes back about 5 feet. And then there's about 4 feet or 3 feet, it's just gravel. And if you wanted to inspect it, you'd see that there's no sidewalk. It just doesn't go back all the way. And it's gravel. And so it's really one of the few spots in the town that is just no sidewalk, just never been a sidewalk. That was that particular block. For some reason, Red Bank never developed it, they never put sidewalks in until people around us, commercial properties, when you developed it, the requirement was they made you put a sidewalk in. I had to put sidewalk in on North Bridge Avenue also. Same thing, they had to do, eliminate a curb cut and put curbing in, that type of thing. But I just think at this point, we have an opportunity to get that missing sidewalk put in. The last time that we addressed this issue, no one owned that piece of property, 2602. We couldn't find out who owned it, so nobody put the sidewalk in. But I think now is an opportunity that we should have a sidewalk there.
and it
It
should
looks,
be
it looks
graded.
like it's about 3 or 4 feet and then wide, and then obviously the 11-foot deep. Mr. Roller, would you agree to put concrete in there to match where I mean, I'm looking at it here. To match, the existing sidewalk only has about a foot that the driveway apron covers. It looks like there's another 2 or 3 feet.
And it doesn't match the grade when the exit was put in for the parking lot at Biravino, that they lowered the grade of the sidewalk, they lowered the grade so it would slope out, so they wouldn't have any kind of an apron going into the street. It was street level. And so now we created a little bit of a unevenness in that area. So it should be, a sidewalk should be in.
Can I ask
It
a
has to be
question?
graded.
What portion, where are you talking?
Here.
I'm looking.
This is on Brad.
No, I see that.
That's the beginning of 2602.
Right. Yeah,
On the south end.
but there's a concrete landing there.
Well, there's a concrete apron there.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean, a concrete.
But
The
you can
apron
see it
doesn't go back
extend.
all the way to the sidewalk, the
It
width of the
doesn't- yeah.
sidewalk.
That apron or a sidewalk should be the width of the sidewalk and the end of the 11 feet.
Oh, you're just saying to extend the apron.
Yeah, extend the apron a couple feet of concrete. I realize you're not pouring any foundations, but you could roll a truck in there to do that. It looks like it's only about 50 square feet of concrete.
I understand. So if we're asking to put a sidewalk, it would require regrading that whole thing. If we're asking just to increase the apron so it's equal to the sidewalk, so it's concrete all the way across, I would be glad to do that.
And it needs to be level, obviously. I mean, your concrete contractor is going to know how they need to do this, and we're going to inspect it.
So that's what it's going to be. It will just be increasing the apron. You're not asking for a sidewalk.
Yeah, increasing the depth of the apron to match the existing sidewalk.
Well, Gary's absolutely right. This apron is lower than the sidewalk on the parking lot on his side and our side. So the parking lot of Biravino and the parking lot of his office building, the sidewalk is higher than that apron. So if you just continued that apron another 3 feet or whatever it needs to be equal to the sidewalk, it's still depressed. It's a depressed because it's the whole, it's only 11 feet wide.
It's depressed because when you put that parking lot in, that grade was never like that before 2005.
Gary, that was the grade that the surveyors had to do for the parking lot. I didn't decide
It
that.
doesn't comply with the
Yeah,
the
I mean,
ADA.
I
at
agree
all.
with you. If I was
At
walking
all.
a stroller there, it would be a problem. I would have to
I've
lift.
seen people come down the street with a stroller. They have to go in the street to
Yeah,
go around.
I
They
get it.
can't go down the sidewalk.
But they're not making any improvements, is that correct, to that alleyway?
We are not.
So,
But if Mr. Rollo's okay with doing it, I got to tell you, looking at the pictures, I don't see the grade change you guys are talking about. I'm not saying it's not there. I don't
Dan,
see
you have to
it.
go look at it.
And I will.
There is a
But-
grade change.
I think,
There is a grade change.
all right, I mean, so, I mean, if they, yeah, I mean, regrade it so that it pitches towards the street. I think even a pitched sidewalk is better than the gravel.
Well, whatever. You should inspect it.
Well, yeah, it's part of the application. It'll get inspected. But yeah, if you're willing to do it, I think that goes a long way.
We'll do what's needed to meet that. It's going to be a little difficult, but we'll work with the town to make it okay.
Great.
And the other thing is, I agree with the fellow on the sign. I don't think that, that we have to have that sign right on where the location is now. I think it's a pretty busy location. You've got a telephone pole right there. We're on North Bridge Avenue and Riverside. And then you've got another pole where a pedestrian can work this light when they want to cross to push the button. And then you've got the Stein right there. And if we're going to put a sidewalk in, it's going to be, I think that sign is actually on the right of way where the sidewalk should be. I just think it's a little busy and it could be moved back, but I think the whole project is a very positive thing, and Biravino has been a good corporate neighbor of mine, over the years. He keeps the property up and landscaping and things very pretty, very nicely. I just think there's these couple of things would be an improvement. But overall, it's a nice project and I'm very happy that he's doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else from the public? I'll make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Would anyone else like to make a motion regarding the application? Go ahead.
Did you have a speech?
No, I didn't. I got my Tiger Woods joke in earlier. I'm done.
You got it in
Like
a dozen
Pen.
times anyways.
Several Tiger Woods.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean.
I would move to approve the application with the conditions that we discussed.
And it's okay. Motion is second. Second.
Roll call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Donna Ebanks.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christina Bonatakis,
Yes.
Dan Mancuso.
Yes.
Luis Demento.
Yeah.
Robert Boas
Yes.
and Wilson Bibi.
Thanks, guys.
So how
Looking
long-
forward to this.
Yeah, how long
change.
do you think before you open?
Tomorrow.
Vic's gonna be selling pizza on the corner.
Joanna and I had a conversation. Once we get everything going, as soon as we have the approval, we're prepared to start. So hopefully by the end of the summer,
Be
the
awesome.
entrance to Red Bank will look great again.
Thank you for buying the property.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for understanding, and we're happy to make the Gateway beautiful again.
Thank you.
It is.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Any
No.
opposed to adjourning?
No.
Okay, 'cause that's good. How you doing, Gary? Good to see you.
Good to see you.